DFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
Weather and mechanical issues were the Spurs' biggest opponent this weekend. Spurs were delayed coming out of Charlotte over the weekend, which pushed the Spurs game in San Antonio against the Magic to an 8 o'clock tip last night. Spurs were victorious, however. They beat the Magic 112-103. Victor Wembanyama led the way with 25 points, 8 boards, and 5 blocks. As a result of that win, Mitch Johnson will coach the West in the All-Star game.
Live from AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row in San Francisco with coverage leading up to Sunday's big game. It's The Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, it is finally here. Super Bowl week. Yeah, we get to look forward to a game on Sunday. It's going to be a fun one. Seattle taking on the New England Patriots, but a lot to talk about before we get there. There's our big game coverage, and it is brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix, he gets all the good stuff. He's out in San Francisco, out there at the convention center, yucking it up with all the hot shots. What's going on, Jason?
Just another day. It's noon here in San Francisco, which is probably the best part of being out here on the West Coast is you're working noon to 4, but it's day one of Radio Row. And Reinagel, you've been to, 4 or 5 of these. This might be the smallest convention center space that I can recall a Radio Row in. And so the NFL has got a lot of us doubled up. We have roommates here in our little booth space, so that's always interesting. And our booth spaces is about as small as our Airbnb. Now imagine taking the smallest space possible and sharing it with Rob Thompson.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
Lose everything.
No,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Even in a big house, Rob is he's always in the way.
Well, and we've got a lovely house. Obviously, San Francisco is hilly. We've all seen photos, even when you've been here. But when you are driving around in an Uber, because we didn't rent a car, and you're going through it, like we are in the hills of San Francisco. Getting out of the Uber yesterday, you put your luggage down, it's on wheels. And if you didn't catch it, it was going to end up in the water, going straight down. But our lovely Airbnb, we're actually sharing it with people that live there, which is something I don't think we knew when it was booked.
Is Nick Saban there? Is he running the place?
No. We hear them. I haven't seen them, but they have a lovely backyard with stairs all the way up to this great deck that they have out there. And from there, you could probably see the ocean, except for we don't have access to that. Because we only have the upstairs part of the house, which one of us is going to die at some point this week. The fact that I was the first one hurt in this Airbnb and not Rob Thompson was really disappointing.
Well, that's what you get for allowing the suits to book the Airbnb. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's suits took over, and you get new people in charge, and they want to make decisions, and they think they can make good decisions. And this it looks lovely in the pictures. It's awful.
It'll be fun. San Francisco's always a great place. I saw you guys ate some good clam chowder. It looked like last night.
Yeah, total touristy last night down at the Fisherman's Wharf, the Boudin's Bakery, some clam chowder. We had the sourdough pizza, which was fantastic, some calamari. And yeah, I mean, it's night one. You got to go do some touristy things while you're in San Francisco.
Well, of course you do. That's for sure. And you're just getting started out there. So what I love about Super Bowl Radio Row, and obviously you know this as well as anybody, Jason, is as you go through the week, things just get a little more exciting. They get a little more, the names get bigger and all of that stuff. So you got a lot to look forward to as you're out there as we get closer to the big game on Sunday.
Well, and one of the things that's kind of cool, and we'll benefit from this with CD Lamb coming on the show on Wednesday, is with the Pro Bowl actually during Super Bowl week. You get a lot more people in town that maybe would otherwise skip Super Bowl week. They would be going to Pro Bowl City or want nothing to do with it, or be here later in the week like NFL Honors is on Thursday. A lot of those guys would either come in on Wednesday or come in on Thursday for NFL Honors, and they're already here. So that will add to quite a bit of the excitement. And one of the funnier things, Joe, is you can imagine, as I mentioned, it feels like the footprint for everything is small. The store, the NFL shop is smaller than it normally is, but there's a whole section for Pro Bowl stuff. And nobody was over there shopping. Who the hell wants to buy Pro Bowl gear? It's worthless.
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. So from that standpoint, it's kind of comical.
You know, it's interesting to me, though, Jason, as you describe this, and the Super Bowl just gets bigger every year. There's more excitement. There's more interest in it. I find it funny that they would go to a smaller facility as the Super Bowl and all that surrounds it gets bigger and bigger.
Well, I think because the Pro Bowl is here. So we're in their convention center. They call it the Moscone Center. Radio Row is in Moscone West. And then there's another part of the Moscone. I don't know which direction, but that's where the Pro Bowl games are. There's a whole basic stadium set up over there. And then in another part of the Moscone Center is the Fan Fest, the NFL experience. So I think with the addition of that Pro Bowl area, they've had to maneuver some other things around that would normally be a big part of. Like 10 years ago, this is not the room we were in for Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco, and everything was so well run. This has been a total cluster F, if you will, in trying to get things organized. You know, like you get your credentials in Moscone North, but you know everything says come to Moscone West. And like I said, the space here on Radio Row, much smaller. Like, you know, they normally have all kinds of activations and different things out here. The good news is the wing spot is right over yonder, and it's still there. So, wings for lunch every day is still going to be in play. At least they didn't get rid of that part of it. Well,
that's a good thing. And Vince Trevino on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page reminding us there was an earthquake where you are last night. Did you get shaken or rattled or rolled?
No. Now, granted, the earthquake was at 7 a.m. this morning. I'm not up. And so, no, I did not feel an earthquake. I woke up to the news that there was an earthquake. I did not feel anything. So I could say I slept through it, I suppose. But talking to other people around here, I haven't talked to anybody that said they felt it. Now, I'll let Blitz listeners in on a little secret. At the Airbnb, it's the strangest little Airbnb. But they have these horses, like plastic horses that you played with as a kid, on top of a beautiful piano, which is like totally out of place. So Erica and I knocked all the horses down. So when Rob gets home, he's going to think the earthquake knocked them all down. He has no idea.
Well, I hope you didn't break him, because Coach Saban might get upset with you if he finds out what you've done to his Airbnb.
No, we didn't break him. We gently knocked him over, just so Rob will think that that the earthquake must have done that.
I will take bets that Rob didn't even notice the horses laying upside down or down on their backs. He didn't even notice it, I promise you.
I mean, life with Rob Thompson. Last night, we were buying some stuff, and Rob lost something. and he's searching the house. It's not that big. He can't find it, and so disappointed. And we get to Radio Row this morning, and he was like, I found it. It was under my clothes steamer. And he texted this morning like, hey, can you bring my sunglasses? I can't find them. We're looking through his stuff, but we're not rummaging through all of his stuff. But we couldn't find his sunglasses. He'll find them later. So you're right. He may or may not notice that the horses were knocked down. But if they are, he's going to think it was from the earthquake.
Well, sure. But I'll bet on he didn't notice. So you got to ask him that when you get home and you guys go to dinner tonight, if he noticed anything strange around the Airbnb. But no, it's cool. It is our AA Best Bail Bonds Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, big game coverage powered by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Have you seen any of those folks? I know the small batch folks are running around there, and
they'll get in on Tuesday and or Wednesday, and then be out here Wednesday, Thursday, I think, and Friday. So I haven't seen them yet. I don't think they're actually in San Francisco yet.
Oh, that's too bad. They should be in San Francisco. It's a lovely city. It certainly is. And we got a lot to do as we continue our coverage from San Francisco. In fact, Nate Tice is going to join us here coming up in just a little bit. Former NFL scout, insider perspective on team strategies, works for Yahoo. Always like talking with Nate Tice because he's always got a good perspective about what teams are doing and how they're doing it. I think maybe a George Pickens conversation with Nate might be appropriate here, or you got this dude anything.
Yep, you can.
Well, let's get to it then as we continue our big game coverage from Radio Row in San Francisco, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Nate Tice, he'll join us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And, of course, here in San Francisco, getting ready for football's biggest game. You want to get in on all the action you can with Underdog in Texas. If you're not Underdog yet, what are you waiting for? But you're in luck because new customers will score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. And it's easy and it's fun. You just head to the app and make picks on if a player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, passing yards, receiving yards, that sort of stuff. Keep listening all week for different intel that you could pick up from all the experts here on Radio Row, because if you get all your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, they've got new promos dropping daily in the app. So if you like making picks and winning money, and who doesn't, Underdog is the place to be for the big game. What are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code STAR to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. Promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all the pregame excitement leading up to the superb hour. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Free products and services are the best. They're next to non-existent, though. But the next best thing does exist. Barter. Alamo Barter. Right here in San Antonio, if you have a business and provide a product or service, you can barter with hundreds of other businesses that are already members. From trips to a medical visit, restaurants, and home services, Alamo Barter is a great way for you to trade out your skills with others. Call Alamo Barter or visit them online at alamobarter.com. alamobarter.com.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Finding excuses to not do your taxes? Unsure where to start? Sounds like you may be suffering from FOMO, the fear of messing up. The cure? Filing your federal and state taxes for free using TurboTax on Credit Karma. All you have to do is start and finish filing on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Just keep in mind, this offer is available only if you didn't file with TurboTax last year. It's time to break free from your fear of messing up. Start filing for free today in the Credit Karma app.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. If you're tired of pain slowing you down from a recent injury or something that's been nagging you for years, we can help. At Arasti, we've earned the trust of over 8,000 physicians by delivering fast, lasting pain relief without painkillers or surgery. Our hands-on approach targets the root cause of pain, and most patients see results in just one visit. No referral needed, and it's covered by most insurance plans. So don't wait. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
The second I see that Chick-fil-A text in the group chat, I'm throwing my shoes on and running out the door. Hey, I'm Layla.
And I'm Kaylin.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is
how it feels like an easygoing morning.
The chicken adds the most flavor. It's juicy and seasoned.
The biscuit is just very light and airy and fluffy, just like a cloud.
I also love to put jelly on mine, so it's sweet and savory.
It's a good start to the day.
Mornings are a little bit brighter with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit and Simply Orange juice. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, more from Rob on Radio Row out in San Francisco as we get you ready for the Super Bowl, and a ton of hoops to talk as we get one day closer to that mega matchup between the Spurs and the Thunder. Don't be late. Party starts at 6 a.m.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Always good to be out on Radio Row. Jason Minix is there. I'm Joe Reinagel. I'm holding down the fort here in San Antonio. That's what I'm doing because, well, we couldn't leave San Antonio in the hands of just James Pledger, for goodness sake. So that's where I am. Minix is out in San Francisco, and we're expecting Nate Tice to join us here any moment. But again, I just all the excitement of being on Radio Row, man. There's nothing like it.
Well, and that's it. And obviously, things are supposed to run on a schedule, and rarely do they stay on schedule. And right out of the gate, you're already behind, because you get one interview that goes a little bit long, and then it goes from there. So Nate Tice, I'm told, is close by, but he's wrapping up an interview, and then he'll be over here because that's what you do on Radio Row. And, it's a ton of fun. What's great, though, while it is an interesting setup, we are right in the middle of the convention center, almost dead smack in the middle, which is great, except for, we've been where you're on one end and somebody's got to walk all the way across the other end to get there. We're right in the middle. So it shouldn't be long for Nate Tice to get over here.
Well, looking forward to talking to him, that's for sure. And I tell you what, Jason, as we get closer, I think tonight is media night, is it not, where they all parade through an arena somewhere or convention center or whatever, all the players, and they'll be talking to everybody. All of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, and what's crazy is it's happening out in San Jose. So it's over an hour bus ride away for them to get there, and so we'll see. Ultimately, we're not going to be able to go. The bus actually leaves at 3:00 to get there in time, but also because it's set up for television on the East Coast, so it's a little bit earlier in the day. So we won't be making our way out to opening night in San Jose today, but so we're going to find something else to do and go have some fun. But joining us now is Nate Tice here live on Radio Row. Nate, I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagle's back in San Antonio. He'll be the other voice there.
Hello, Nate.
That you hear.
Camera in front of me.
Yes, exactly.
I know. Look at that. Look how small that is. I know. I need to get one of those. I travel with my camera, and I have to bring a whole little case with a
Well, yeah, but you're a TV guy. I mean, it makes sense that you would have more camera stuff.
TV guy, I don't know about that. Podcasting is it's like TV minus. I would say podcast plus. It's like kind of the in between. So yeah, we'll say TV minus right now.
Well, that works. Dude, Radio Row for you as a scout. Your dad was a coach. The analytics that you're always doing. This matchup, your initial thoughts going in?
I think the Patriots are a very live dog. Maybe the best way I could put it. I believe they're 5.5-point underdogs the last I checked, and I really do think they have some aspects that could give the Seahawks some issue. Most notably Sam Darnold, who I think very famously last year against the Rams in the playoff game, and Week 18 before that against the Lions, kind of, maybe cost himself some money, maybe cost himself some credibility as much as he had built up with the Vikings last year. But pressure is the one thing that could discombobulate this offense. And what I've seen is that the Patriots have their best defenders are things that align well against the Seahawks. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Kyrus Tonga, and then outside Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. They have ways that can pick at the Seahawks' weaknesses, which is right guard and center. So this is the playoffs. This is the Super Bowl. 2 weeks to prepare for this stuff. So I do think the Patriots have if I were a betting man, which I used to work, I live in Vegas, so you can assume. Still probably would say like a Seahawks money line thing, but I do think there's more Patriots value here and more Patriots liveliness that I think they're getting credit for.
I'm glad you said that, Nate, because a lot of folks, you look at these so-called experts and everybody's picking the Seattle Seahawks, it seems. I've got to ask you this question, though. With Sam Darnold last week, he didn't practice a whole heck of a lot, injured. He comes out and maybe has his best game as a pro. Now, Drake May's a little bit dinged up and not practicing a whole heck of a lot. Is that practice thing with this time of year a little bit maybe overrated?
Yeah, a little bit. And some of those people that report on injuries, they got to get clicks. It's a bye week for all of us, so we have to figure out content. I did a mock draft last week. You got fellow content, however you got to do it. No, I do think it is. It's also, they have essentially glorified walkthroughs during those practices. Those aren't going to be very high tempo. They'll get a lot of plays in, but I think it'll be kind of low maintenance. So I think it's one of those where, we can rest it so we can get mental reps, maybe minimize how much we can push that arm. I mean, that's the golden goose of a quarterback is their arm or their shoulder. It's just like a pitcher. Okay, he missed one start. Okay, just to make sure that there's soreness or whatever isn't bad. But I do think it's a little overblown. I guess I was going to say don't quote me on that, but I guess here I am. So do quote me on that, I guess. But no, I do think it's a little bit overblown of how it goes. And I think even with the Darnold thing with the oblique, everyone's like, well, he didn't throw at practice. That was a walkthrough. Those guys usually throw 10 balls during those practices, but you got to get some clicks, get some engagement.
Yahoo Sports NFL analyst and host of the Football 301 show, Nate Tice, joining us here on the Blitz on Radio Row. So much has been made of the Patriots' week schedule and who they played and trying to gauge just how good is this defense. Their wins versus playoff teams outside of, obviously, in the playoffs, and even C.J. Stroud was so bad in the postseason, and then they didn't have to play Bo Nix. How do you, when you're trying to analyze and predict, how good is that defense against Sam Darnold in the offense? How much does who they play factor into your evaluations?
It's the NFL. So I think a lot of people want to use that as okay, it was never this big of a conversation point, which has just been so funny to me. It's not the Big Ten going against the Big 12, or the SEC going against the Big 12. It's the NFL. And so I even think you see DVOA, I use DVOA from FTN, formerly Football Outsiders, and those stats is I think sometimes people see rankings and they don't actually see what the numbers are, the percentiles are. It might be, yes, they played a weaker schedule, but it's really 7% difference, as opposed to like, oh my God, it's half the defense that they played last week. We watched the NFL week to week. Who did the Rams lose to this year? Lost to the Panthers. They lost like some bad games, and all of a sudden, like that, the fact that a team beats the bad teams, that's what you want to do. So, do I think it is an aspect? Yeah, it's a variable in all of this, but it's also, I think the NFL is so much about particular matchups, like I brought up with the Patriots defense, that has to be focused on more as opposed to the overall schedule. I saw it getting used against Drake May and for the MVP conversation, and even people were using not opponent defense, they're just using the teams, which is like, he doesn't play defense to go against the opposing quarterback. Like, just because they played the Browns doesn't mean it was bad for him. He played against Myles Garrett in the Browns defense. So I do think it's kind of like most talking points, it's lost contained.
Yep,
is my best way to put it. So I rate it, but not as much as other stuff that I weigh a little bit more.
All right, Nate, let me ask you this question, because I love the quarterback matchups in this Super Bowl with Drake May and Sam Darnold. And you have kind of two of the opposite spectrum here. Sam Darnold, it took a while for him to be Sam Darnold, the guy that we're watching this year, the last 2 years, that won 14 games. And then Drake May comes in, and he just kicked it off right away. What do you look at when you see quarterbacks like that? I know with Darnold, it seems like the coaching helped him as he moved through the chain, where Drake May just came in and seemed like he knew it right away.
Yeah, I was very bullish on May as a prospect. One of my, I think, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here if no one's listening, but he was my highest graded prospect since Andrew Luck. So I'm like, yeah, he looks great. This is exactly what I expected. If I were to say that he was going to be the MVP candidate, they're going to the Super Bowl this year, I would have said it all summer, as opposed to like, he might be a sneaky top 10 guy after this year. What I look for in prospects, though, first off, is I think people wave away size too much. And I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about weight and girth and strength. I think there is a parameter of success when guys weigh above 215 or 220. So really, that's one of the first things I look at. Like Caleb Williams, 6'1", but 225 pounds. I actually think he weighs 235 now. But guys that of size, and because when you have to win in the pocket and win as an NFL player, and how many hits you take as a quarterback, you have to hold up build-wise. And I think that's one thing that people tend to underrate with prospects, especially quarterback prospects, is traits matter. Not people think of that DNs or receivers or something like that. Quarterbacks too. Size, speed, athleticism do matter, as well as the mental makeup, of course. So when I'm looking at size, combat sports, there's weight classes for a reason. So I don't think why a combat sport like football is, that should get waved away. So that's the first thing. Whether you can create, which is, to me, can you push the ball down the field in structure? When things do go askew, can you create slightly out of structure or create outside the pocket? Can you throw on the move? Because every quarterback has to basically throw on the move these days, because whether they're a Shanahan offense or not, that's kind of how you have to win. So I look at aggression, athleticism, and size. And I kind of really, those are big check marks for me. And whether they can push the ball over the middle. Because to me, that's 3-point shooting for a quarterback, is that if you don't throw over the middle, you make the offense very tight, and now you turn it into iso ball on the outside. But if you push the ball over the middle, then everything else opens up. And some quarterbacks just have a knack for it. Some you have to eke it out of them. Some have never been asked to do it. But like, that's why I like May. That's why I like Darnold when he came out. Is that they had the cojones to kind of like, yeah, I'm going to rip this over the middle and throw it with timing and anticipation. So.
All right, Nate. Now you're a scout working now with Yahoo. We're here, Super Bowl Radio Row. We're the Cowboys of Philly and San Antonio.
Okay.
All those traits you're talking about, and I'm trying to think in my mind, Dak Prescott. When are we going to see the Cowboys, don't laugh, in this game again? It's only been 30 years.
I think that offense might go supernova next year, especially if they get some running back with some real juice. I'm a huge Clayton Adams guy. I loved him when he was at Arizona. I had no idea who he was. I knew him as a player, and I was like, hey, Arizona's doing some cool stuff with their O-line. So I think what their O-line is, if Pickens comes back, I know that's going to be a whole talking point for the next month or so. I think you will. But I think this offense might go supernova. And if you look at the NFC, really look at the NFL right now, there's a lot of imperfect teams. It's not a lot of juggernauts being built right now. There's a lot of good. So why I'm saying that is that the defense doesn't have to be top 5 or top 8. They just have to be not crap. Yeah. And I think, and I really wish they got the Jim Leonard hire. That would have been very cool for this defense, but I like who they hired from Philly. And I think just be able to juice up some of their aspects of this defense and maybe get a running back. Like, this team is really set up. I'm pretty high on the Cowboys going into next year. I really am. Brian Schottenheimer really impressed me. I think he's a much better interview than I also realized he would be. Maybe it's a coach's kid thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, way to go, Nepo babies, let's go. I think he's great, and I like the defense. I think the Eberflus thing is whatever. We're over this year, but we're that defense when Quentin Williams was out there and healthy. Like it was like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going. You got Donovan Ezeraku, and honestly, I don't know if Cowboys fans know this. It's a great linebacker draft.
Yes.
So, and I know the Cowboys have needed a linebacker since what? Leighton Vander Esch?
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
More or less.
Shawn Lee.
Yeah. So I think that's it aligns kind of nicely for where they're at right now. So, am I saying Super Bowl? I'm not sure, but I do think they can easily make the playoffs next year. I know Vegas will have them because they'll sucker in all the Cowboys fans. Yeah. But no, I really do. I'm pretty high on them, especially if you look at their division. Commanders are reeling. Giants, who knows with Jackson Dart? I'm not very high on them. But then also the Eagles are reeling too. It's like it's a wide open division next year. So I actually like where the Cowboys are at.
Well, let me ask you this, Nate. When you're talking about rebuilding that defense, and a lot of there are some good defensive players coming out in this draft. Is it better to go rookie and try the young fellas, or would you try to mix in some veterans in that too, if you can?
Yes. Well, usually when you have a weakness, I love the double dip. I think maybe the epitome of that is maybe the Chiefs a few years ago. Their O-line cost them a Super Bowl. They drafted 2 guys. They signed another guy, or they traded for a guy and drafted 2 guys right away. Hey, this weakness is not a weakness anymore. Like we are good, and we're going to give ourselves kind of ways to pivot if an injury happens or not. I think where they're set up, what's nice is that their offense has even Ryan Flournoy, he has a lot of stuff to him. Like he's kind of a guy that caught my eye. So why I'm bringing that up is the offense doesn't need too much. Like, yeah, running back. But there's some interesting vets out there. Tyler Algier would be really cool from Atlanta. But there's some aspects of why I'm saying that is they can focus on the defense. You don't want to mitigate, or wave away one side just to focus on the other. But I think there's some free agents that make sense. I'm trying to think of some right off the top of my head. But there's some make sense that maybe you just get a 1-year vet to help out, but also just draft it. And again, like I said earlier, there's corners, there's linebackers, and there's some edge players that actually line up well with the Cowboys. Keldrick Falk from Auburn is a guy I could see getting drafted by them with their first pick. The corner-wise, there's some guys that'll be available for them too with their second pick. So there's some stuff there that I really like for them.
Nate Tice joining us here on the Blitz, Yahoo Sports NFL analyst, host of the Football 301 show. You've mentioned like twice you're not. It doesn't sound like you're a fan of Javonte Williams.
I think he's fine.
He's fine. Although Stephen Jones said it was at the Senior Bowl this last week that they've already kind of started conversations.
Okay.
Like they want to bring him back. Are you sounding alarm bells for Cowboy fans that he might not be the answer? He was good last year, but is he really the guy you want moving forward?
I would say long-term, no. I would say he's great for a stopgap. Even if they bring him back for maybe like a 2-year deal and then draft someone. I'm trying to remember who's
Blue.
Who's it? Blue.
Yeah.
Yes. I almost said Cedric Gray,
which
is going way back.
Wrong color scheme.
Different color, Texas running back.
Yeah.
I know. There's got to be someone there. But no, he's a tinier back. He's a I actually liked him a little bit more than I thought I would. Running between the tackles, he has the fumble issue as well. Got banged up a little this year as well. But I think Javonte has a ceiling. That I maybe just want more. I think a lot of the success came from Clayton Adams, from this O-line, from having an awesome passing game for a lot of weeks when all the receivers were healthy and all the pass catchers were healthy. So I think just that part is why I'm like, well, you can just turn this thing into like a top 3 offense that could just run you to the Super Bowl if everything breaks right. And so that's why I think maybe it's what they say in wrestling, fantasy booking. Yeah, that's what I want. And I'm not saying first round. I'm even saying day 2. There's some other guys out there that might make sense for them. So, or another guy, maybe they re-up Javonte, they sign another guy in free agency. Like I said before, Tyler Algier is an interesting name to me, but somebody that can complement him as well. I always think Javonte needs a shared backfield. He's either going to take a lot of hits because of his running style. Also just think that just some of the aspects of like pass protection and other things. Maybe a guy that's more juice in the pass catching game as well. So I just do think that they need another body in there. Javonte will be back, coming fine, great. But I still think they need a new face.
All right, Nate, well, a quick question, because, you're sitting there across from the president of the Dak Prescott fan club and Jason Minix right there. What is it about Dak Prescott? Regular season, Dak Prescott looks like an MVP every year. Playoffs, a different thing. Why do you think that is?
Well, regular season, why he's so good is he's so smart. This is one of so I'm a Dak aficionado as well. So this is perfect. I'm in friendly territory.
Great minds think alike.
Everything I talked about. I said size, throwing over the middle, creation. Like Dak to me is a guy, which is not, it's so crazy where he was at Mississippi State, is he's a guy that if I were to teach a high schooler how drop back mechanics, timing, it's like him and Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. Like those are the three guys I'd be like, hey, this is how proper timing is on a football play. Dak is it's funny, he doesn't get hyped this way as much as like Joe Burrow does, but he's a quarterback of yesteryear as far as how control the pre-snap, doing all the things, the aspects, how he reads the field. He'll run every type of concept. Some guys don't like every type of thing. He'll run everything. Can throw quick game, can push the ball. I think pushing the ball sometimes can be hit or miss, but helps when you have George Pickens going up and high point those balls. But no, he's a guy I've long considered I always say the top of tier 2 is how I've described it. He's not what I consider one of the gods, but maybe he's the top of the next crop of guys, and a guy that carries you to the Super Bowl when everything's not perfect. But I do think playoff-wise, he can be a guy that can press and spiral, especially when he feels it on him. And you feel those last playoff games. The 49ers game comes to mind. Couple 49ers games, right? Packers game. Is that, okay, the defense is getting whooped on. I got to get it all back on this next play. Sometimes that works out, and it's great, but the playoffs, man, one mistake could spiral quickly. Watch C.J. Stroud 2 weeks ago. One thing leads to another bad play. I think Dak is also maybe like now he can trust what else he has with him, run game wise, everything that he else, the offensive line being a strength again, that maybe that'll tone down a little bit. Seeing Sam Darnold tone it down a little this year. So it's like, I think Dak is a much better quarterback. So maybe that's what some of the playoff woes and one-off games. Playoffs are one-off games. It's so hard to like. I try to look at the big picture of the 18 games or the 16, 17 games they played before that, rather than how they ended. Because what if that Bucs game, when all of a sudden, he beats the Bucs, he can win in the playoffs, and everyone just forgets about it because he loses the next week. He was All-Pro, second team, and all of a sudden, a year later, he gets hurt, and everyone's like, yeah, he sucks again. I'm like, he was just second team All-Pro last year. I think he's a very good quarterback.
Nate Tice, Yahoo Sports NFL analyst, the Football 301 show, which you can see on Yahoo Sports Network's Fast Channel and, of course, on YouTube. Nate, enjoy Radio Row, man. This was fun. You're welcome anytime being a Dak guy. I mean, we'll have to have these conversations more so you can slap some sense into Ryan Eagle.
Okay, I am a Timberwolves fan, so maybe the Western Conference stuff might be a little tough there, but no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Nate, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nate Tice here on Super Bowl Radio Row. See that, Joe? I mean, you can try to find people, but, they're all believers in Dak Prescott.
Well, except in the playoffs, and I think that was clearly mentioned there, that's a problem, but that's all right. Hey, I'm a Dak Prescott fan. I love Dak. Sure. Yep. He's a great guy. Good family man.
Yep. Yeah. Except when you love him, except when you don't.
That's it.
I love you, Dad.
That's it. Great talking to Nate Tice. No doubt about it. Hey, let's talk a little Spurs basketball because it was quite the weekend adventure for our San Antonio Spurs. Those guys, they went through the gauntlet, but came out on the other side pretty clean. But we will continue our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage live from San Francisco, powered by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're looking for TRT, don't pay hundreds or settle for low-dose TRT. You need to get into Synergenics and Low T Center, where they take most insurance plans and they customize each dose for maximum safe results. Don't compromise your health. Synergenics and Low T Center have been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market. They only use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone, never compounded, so you know exactly what's going into your body. And the test, that T-test, is absolutely free. Also, all the providers at Synergenics and Low T Center are board certified and experts in their field, not random chatbots or providers you never actually see. They can also help you meet your real goals, not just your medical ones. Synergenics and Low T Center have a variety of peptides to help with healing, muscle tone, recovery, sleep, weight loss, and even hair and skin quality. And right now, you can get $50 off per vial for select peptides and GLP-1s. So book a free testosterone test and pick up discounted peptides and GLP-1s while you are there. Go to lowtcenter.com or Centergenics.com to book that free T-test today.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind the scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Monday, March 30th at the Golf Club of Texas. Get your slot now. $150 per person or $500 per foursome. The Spring Golf Classic, benefiting fitting animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, is presented by Flight by Yingling, sponsored in part by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. The Spring Golf Classic, Monday, March 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Finally, it is Super Bowl week. I don't like the week prior to Super Bowl week because you got to just sit there and wait. We can finally start focusing in on the Super Bowl. Seattle taking on the New England Patriots. It's going to be a fun one coming up this Sunday. But all the stuff going on beforehand, well, we got to be there. Radio Row in San Francisco, our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage. Jason Minix is out in the Bay Area. I'm here protecting the vaunted studio at San Antonio Sports Star. And so that's what I'm doing here. But it's a great interview with Nate Tice. If you missed that, go back and listen to that. I will say, Jason, that our one New York Giants fan, I guess, that listened to this radio program, got a little upset when Nate, he kind of disparaged Jackson Dart. And,
I mean, not high on Jackson Dart. That's a guy's opinion. We'll see. It will be interesting to see what Harbaugh is able to do in New York with a Jackson Dart and a Cam Scatterboo and a Malik Neighbors, and then I look at their defense. I mean, but that's the beauty of all these guys. Nate Tice's dad was a head coach in the NFL, and he was a scout, and so when you look at his opinion, I mean, it matters, but you think about all these different scouts, some like this, some like that. We'll see. I think the one thing with Jackson Dart that we can all agree on is his style of play. He needs to be a little bit more careful with his body. And you see that a lot with some young quarterbacks. And once they learn how to slide, maybe not take on a linebacker head to head, they prolong their career, and it comes down to decision making. So he says he's not high on him. I'm cool. I was a little more surprised to hear that he's not overly high on a Javonte Williams, because that almost feels like the no-brainer decision for the Cowboys, especially at the right price. Nate Tice didn't seem overly high on getting him re-signed, or if he does, 2-year deal, not a lot of money, and then bring in somebody else. Can Javonte Williams be a bell cow running back? I think he can, maybe for that 2-year period. I mean, look, he's still got a lot to prove. The guy coming off a major injury in Denver, and then kind of repurposing himself with the Dallas Cowboys. I thought he played really well this year. Can he do it on a consistent basis year in and year out? It's going to be interesting. Jason, you talk about Jackson Dart learning to take care of his body. I think Victor Wembanyama has got to learn how to start taking care of his body. Desmond Bane last night for the Orlando Magic, he tried to kill him a couple of times. I'm convinced of it. Well, now in San Francisco, I was only able to watch a little bit of the game. I did bring the Magic box out here, so we got it plugged in, and we were watching some of the game before we went to dinner, although we were getting the Orlando feed. So we didn't get to hear Jacob Toby and Sean Elliott tell us about the crazy weather. But that was one of the things on the Orlando broadcast that they were talking about, how the goal going in was to be overly physical with Victor Wembanyama. That is the only way that you can kind of contain and or slow him down, is to beat the crap out of him.
Well, last night it didn't work because Wemby scored 25 points and he was all over the place and he played really well. And surprisingly, you mentioned the weather. I watched the Charlotte game on Saturday. And they moved that one back to 11 o'clock in the morning, obviously because of weather, and didn't do the Spurs much good. Couldn't get out of Charlotte because of the snowstorm. I think they had like 10, 12 inches in Charlotte that day. And then when they finally take off, they have a mechanical issue. They got to land the plane and fix that. The game in San Antonio yesterday against
hang on. A mechanical issue, my ass. They lost cabin pressure in the sky.
Well, that's a mechanical issue, isn't it?
Well, that's not a minor mechanical issue like the Spurs said. I mean, could you imagine? And I don't know if you guys heard the audio where they're like, yeah, there's 71 souls on board. I'm like, what the? Like I'm imagining, did the things drop from the ceiling? What was the panic like as they were landing? Now, the pilot sounded calm, but I don't know how calm I would have been if all of a sudden, those things drop and hey, we got to land this thing real quick. That's more than just a minor mechanical issue. Land, get a new plane, and oh, by the way, we're going to push the game back a couple more hours because you still got to play a basketball game today. That's insane.
Well, it is insane. Come on. You'd never be scared of those little masks fall out of the ceiling. Come on. You'd be okay.
Have you ever been on a plane when that has happened?
No, I haven't.
Me neither. And I don't know how calm I would be if that were to actually happen. Because when I think of, planes that have lost cabin pressure, you think about where, people are no longer with us within a couple of minutes, and then the plane crashes because nobody is alive in there because they lost cabin pressure.
Oh,
that's
my
not the way
goodness.
I think anybody wants to go out.
Well, that was on a private plane. You're talking about Payne Stewart. I think that's how he passed away, and that plane flew around for hours until it ran out of gas. That's not going to happen in a commercial plane. Come on.
I mean, you lose cabin pressure, you lose cabin pressure. I don't think it matters what size, right? I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, that's more than just a mechanical diversion. That scares the hell out of you if that were to happen.
Well, let's hope I never experience that. I don't ever want to experience that. But maybe we should do that every game. The Spurs came out yesterday against Orlando and just looked like they had 3 days off.
And then they ran out of gas, and then somehow they picked it back up. And I love Wemby afterwards saying, yeah, we didn't want travel to be an excuse.
Yeah, we thought, and we actually discussed it before, like there's no excuse. We need to be ready for tonight. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, to be honest, there's been worse back-to-backs. Like I wasn't part of it, but like actually the team traveled from like played here and traveled to Orlando, landed at like 4 a.m. Like that's tougher than what we did today.
Wow, tougher than what we did today. Look, and I can hear this conversation taking place. Look, we got to go play. We got to beat this team. This Orlando team's not bad. They're a pretty good team. We got to beat these guys, and they came out and they got it done, even though they were trying to rough up Wemby pretty good.
No, I mean, I don't think I was frustrated. I know they do that because they don't want to play the game. They don't want to play a basketball game. But I mean, our job on offense is to make it a basketball game. So that's how we're gonna beat them. But it's just the game. It's like this every night.
Every night, he's going to have to get used to it. Although I think that's the roughest I've seen him treated. Desmond Bane, he was on a mission to just try and bang the hell out of Wemby last night.
Joe, I want to kind of re-listen to what Wemby said there because, Pledge, play the beginning part of that again.
No, I mean, I don't think I was frustrated. I know they do that because they don't want to play the game. They don't want to play a basketball game.
They don't want to play the basketball game. Remember a couple weeks ago, he used the term ethical basketball. Is Wemby saying is what he is actually trying to say is they don't want to play fair. They can't play straight up basketball because I will kick their ass. So they have to get dirty isn't the right word, but it's the only one that comes to my mind.
Well, I wouldn't say it's dirty. It's just physical basketball. There was a time when that was the NBA. That's what it was all about. And guys would go down and they get back up and you play. I don't know why. Now, look, Wemby's probably not used to playing that style of basketball. I get it. But you heard Charles Barkley say the other day, that's the only way teams can beat San Antonio is to get physical with Wemby. And they're going to continue to do it until he shows them that's not going to affect them. Last night he showed them the physical play didn't affect him at all.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's the key. And he's got to adjust. But also, they don't want to play basketball, ethical basketball, all that. Dude, you just got to go play. And maybe it's something lost in the translation, but I don't know if he likes that style of basketball, but he's going to have to learn how to deal with it, because that is how every team scouting report is going to be against Victor Wembanyama, and that is beat the hell out of him.
No doubt about it. He's got to deal with that the rest of the year. Now, the good news about that win yesterday, Jason, was the fact that Mitch Johnson now is going to coach the West All-Stars. That win cemented that he did it, and he was reacting to it after the game.
It would be an honor and humbling to be able to be a part of All-Star Weekend with the best players in this league. And the league always does a great job of putting a great weekend on. And, it's a example and a reflection of the work that these guys have put in. And again, it's something that I would just be honored and have a privilege to do, and probably a great bonus and memories to make with some of my family and myself and the people that'll be there.
Did he mention a great bonus? I guess that's in his contract, huh?
Dude, I love the fact that you get a coach that's already rich going, dude, I get paid extra for this. That's awesome.
That's
fantastic. Good
memories
for the family. Absolutely. A wife is going to love that extra coin.
The bad news is none of the other Spurs were named to the All-Star team. The reserves were announced yesterday, and the controversial part of that is that LeBron James was named a reserve.
Of course he was.
And not your favorite number 2. So there's been a lot of controversy stirring up.
I'm if they're going to add somebody from LA, I would much rather it be LeBron than number 2. So and again, LeBron, is he an all-star this year? Is he playing at that level? Probably not.
No.
Would I rather have seen I'm selfish a De'Aaron Fox get that? Maybe. But LeBron, with everything that he has done, if this is his last one, I'm not overly mad at it, especially if they selected him instead of Kawhi. Then I'm good with that.
I think that's what they did, and I'm really already tired of this. Well, this could have been his last game at Madison Square Garden. This could have been his last game in Cleveland. This could have been his last game. I'm sick of it, man. Let's go. Let's just do the farewell tour already and get it over with.
Well, no, because, he'll actually do that. He is one that I do think, whether this might be his last year in L.A. I know last week when he played in Cleveland, bring him home and let him have his final year there, full circle, all that, because he'll have that rocking chair tour, his retirement tour, and get all the gifts and all that fun stuff. I fully expect that from LeBron. So guess what, Joe? You get to hear all that crap again next year.
I cannot wait. Are you kidding me? That's
and
awesome.
Maybe the year after that.
Oh, my God.
And
Say it
maybe
ain't
the
so.
year after that.
Say it ain't so. Please. Hey, Minix, you've heard of the Kiss Cam, right?
I have.
Well, there's a hockey team that has taken it one step further. And apparently it's good luck. I didn't know it was good luck, but apparently it is for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Of course it's good luck.
We're talking about that and a lot more. We continue our Super Bowl coverage, big game coverage, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. It will continue live from San Francisco here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And, with Mitch Johnson now being the head coach of the All-Star team, next Friday, the Blitz is going to be live out at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, getting you ready for All-Star Weekend. And, there's no better place to go watch any big game, any big event than the Roo Pub there at 281 and Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. And it is the best sports bar out there. In fact, earlier today, Paul Catalina from affiliate up in Waco was like, man, how's the Roo Pub? I need to get back down there. That is the best sports bar, because it is. With those big old TVs and the food there, you can't beat it. They have the biggest and best wings in town. I love their fried shrimp, about 15 different burgers on the menu. Their hot dogs, their appetizers, even their salads, I'm told, are wonderful. And that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. So when you need a late night meal, don't go to a drive-through, get into the Roo Pub there at 281 and Redland Road. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Riding 410 with the Blitz.
Well, the Dallas Morning News is reporting the Cowboys have not had any contract talks with impending free agent wide receiver George Pickens to this point. Stephen Jones says last week they had begun talking with running back Javonte Williams. San Francisco 49ers are hiring Falcons recently fired head coach Raheem Morris to be their next defensive coordinator. He'll replace Robert Saleh, who took the head coaching job in Tennessee. It is Super Bowl week. Finally, I'm glad that it's here. And, of course, that means the Blitz is on Radio Row. Jason Minix is out there in San Francisco, our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage. I'm back here protecting the studio and enjoying the interviews that we are going to get, a long list of great interviews coming your way all this week, so you want to keep it right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. And, oh, by the way, Jason, if that's not good enough, it is a Mellow Monday, my friend. At some point in time, we'll be giving away a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom.
Nothing better than Mellow Mushroom. It is fantastic pizza. That is for sure. And I did see somebody tagged me in a Instagram post that they've been going once a month ever since they won that $50 gift card and got turned on to Mellow Mushroom. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the way it's supposed to work, but it is fantastic. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. Like Mellow Mushroom, we appreciate them very much. Now, you're out there. It seems like a lot of folks behind you kind of, I don't know, filling in, I guess, as we go throughout the day. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's, I mean, so we got in yesterday, and we were here, and I posted a video on the Instagram story of as things were getting built. Now most everything is built, but as you know, a lot of people are arriving today. And so they're showing up and doing their setups, and they have all their luggage, all their stuff. And then there's still some empty tables. So maybe people are not here yet, or they're coming on Tuesday or Wednesday. But it is a smaller footprint. I was just talking to our friend Justin, who we see every year at the Army Navy Radio Row, who works for Sirius XM, one of the top engineers. And he just scared the hell out of me because he was like, yeah, this is a much smaller footprint. And next year in LA, it might even be smaller because the convention center is under construction. He told me they have about 35% of their normal space this year in San Francisco for Sirius XM. And when you go by it, I mean, I'm not doing the math on it, but it is a much smaller area for them. So I guess that's just par for the course.
Well, I guess so. Now, before we get into the headline blitz, I have to ask you what somebody on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page said you and Rob went to a club last night that is for special folks, I guess.
That is completely
that's
untrue.
Not true.
No, that's completely untrue. Now I can tell you, yesterday was about as lame of a day one in any city that we've ever had on a trip. Now, I got up at 4 a.m. yesterday to fly out here. We get here. We get things set up at the convention center. By the way, everything here is union. You can't plug in a damn thing without a union person. And then our internet didn't work. And the lady that is in charge was like, yeah, I'm waiting on the union guy. And I'm like, well, I've got to test my equipment. She was like, it'll be a while. Go eat lunch and then come back. So we did that, went shopping, went to the NFL store and spent way too much money. And then we came back and then it was working. And by then, Rob had finally made it. Now, you got to understand Rob Thompson. And Rob was flying in from New Orleans after a weekend at Mardi Gras. He was connecting in Denver. And at one point, he's texting me, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm supposed to land when the other plane is taking off. Rob Thompson said he literally ran at the airport. Rob Thompson literally ran. Now, you can define what running is, but he used the term he ran. And in the process, lost one of his brand new earbuds that he got for Christmas that were really expensive. So, Rob said, I can't have nice things.
He really can't.
He made the plane, was the last one on the plane. So and he spent a lot of money on the upgrade with the new stupid assigned seating thing on Southwest. But his carry-on was way in the back, so he was the last one off the plane, even though he had a seat in the front, so he could get his bag. They wouldn't let him swim upstream, if you will, to get his bag. So Rob was not a happy camper by the time he got here. Although his travel nightmare is not near what some of our friends were dealing with because somebody took their suitcase home because it looked just like theirs, and that had all their equipment. But then we finally get here. We go to Target, do a little grocery shopping, get back to the house, then started watching the Spurs. It was time to eat. Had to make a California stop, if you will, and then we went to a restaurant, and we were home by 10 o'clock.
Well, that's good. That's a couple of old guys like you and Rob ought to be doing. Getting in bed bright and early so you can get up early and do your best, no doubt.
Yep. That's kind of where it is. Let's do the headline blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Brought to you by Novo Brazil Brewery in North Star Mall. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Kiss Cam has gone to another level in Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Penguins. You want to explain this one, Joe?
Well, sure. I'm happy to do that. It's called the BJ Cam now, not the Kiss Cam.
No, really?
In all honesty, that's what it's called, is the BJ Cam. And instead of leaning over and kissing whoever's next to you, you pretend like you're, I guess, giving them a BJ.
So, is this sponsored by somebody?
Who would it be sponsored by?
Is that an action? Well, I think there's
Slurpee?
It could be 7-Eleven with
Yeah.
Slurpee. I mean, so the Pittsburgh Penguins are actually calling it BJ Cam at the game instead of Kiss Cam.
Yes. And they've won like 6 in a row since they started doing that. So they're crediting their win streak on the new BJ Cam. So I mean, if it works, it works.
I mean, stick tap to those with the Pittsburgh Penguins that have come up with this. Wasn't that long ago, there was a lady in Denver at a Nuggets game who kind of simulated something like that, and she got ridiculed. And now the Penguins have turned it into something.
They have. And if you go and look at that video, it's quite comical. It really is. A lot of head bobbing, if you know what I mean.
Well, absolutely. I think we all know what you mean, Joe.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
If you've got to ask, just keep driving.
Yes.
If you got kids in the car, good luck explaining that.
Well, it's a restaurant called BJ's. That's what we're talking about. Come on.
Well, and I think there's it's a grocery store or something called BJ's on the East Coast. So it would make sense that they would have that sponsored in Pittsburgh.
I think it's funny. Hey, you're fighting, right? You're in a fight, in a boxing match, and you get hit so hard your hair comes out.
Dude, that's the funniest video. I mean, watching that dude fight, and then the hair starts to flop up and then gets knocked off, and then he throws it into the crowd. I mean, as the dude said, man, he knocked the crap out of his hair.
Off his head, Sergio! Wow! That is going to make the rounds on social media. That's like a cartoon. It is a toupee. And he just took it off.
It's a toupee. He got punched in the face, and that thing would whoop. It never got back to where it needed to be.
I've never seen anything quite like that.
I have not either. It's hilarious.
And I mean, did he really get hit that hard? The combination of the sweat and the glue didn't work. But at the end, when he's doing the post-fight interview, the fact that it looked like part of that rug just got ripped out. You know, like when you pull up carpet sometimes and along the edges where the nails are, you get some carpet left. That's what the dude's head looked like. I mean, I can't believe he stayed in the ring. I would, that happens to you. You got to leave the building and never be heard from again. You can't live that down.
That's funny. Now, Stephen Ledesma on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page says he saw the fight live, and he said it was crazy. I bet it was watching that. Just nuts. Now, serious question for you, Minix. Would you ever confuse Jose Altuve with Livy Dunn?
No.
Well, apparently she is standing in the box while her beau, Paul Skeens, is throwing, pretending to be a short guy like Jose Altuve.
Uh-huh. I don't know that I would, if I were Paul Skeens, would ever throw anything near her. You got to protect her at all costs.
Well, I would think so too.
That's risky business. You can find somebody else to pretend to have a smaller strike zone to work on that.
She is actually doing that. There's video of it, and he's throwing like Paul Skeens throws. Obviously, the guy's got pretty good control, and I'm sure when she's standing there in the batter's box, it's even extra better.
Well, see, that's where you're worried about chin music, man. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, please. Don't hurt her. Don't do it.
No. Hey, did you hear the Rick Barnes comments the other day?
I did.
I realize, I mean, we just talked about BJ Cam. I mean, the world is so completely changed, but I never thought we'd get to the point where you'd hear this from a college coach.
I mean, at the end of the game, some of the passes that we throw, I mean, just, I don't know what to say other than sometimes I wonder if my guys are betting on games. I shouldn't say that, but, you know, that's erase that. I don't want to say that. But I just wonder what's happening. I mean, because I know we're too good of players to do that. Was that a bad? I apologize. I shouldn't have said that.
No, you don't.
He got his point across.
I mean, but sometimes, I mean, I'm glad to hear that from a coach, because there are times when we're watching games and you wonder, dude, are you really trying to throw the game? You know, it's like the Spurs game in Charlotte. That was dumb basketball at the end. But to hear that from a coach is comical, scary, and it's the world we live in.
It is the world we live in, you know, and this is the world we live in, too. I've got a friend that's an anesthesiologist, and she says that people come in with things inserted in their rectum a lot. A hospital had to be evacuated, Minix, after an 8-inch World War I artillery shell was discovered in the patient's butt.
Now, you know, your friend, anybody like my wife is a nurse, and she's a career ER nurse, and there are a lot of things. A lot of people slip and fall on things, and whoop, that's where they end
over and over and over again.
It is possible. But the idea that you would, well, I wonder what a World War I artillery shell would do.
That certainly make that hole bigger.
Blow your back out.
Well, I mean, talk about explosive diarrhea.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, now I could Google image a World War I artillery shell. But I've seen artillery shells. I don't want that anywhere near my backside, especially if it's a live one. That's just dumb. That's somebody that needs counseling.
What a lot of compliments on my bend. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would say that. Crazy. Again, there's a picture of this thing that they took out of his behind. If you want to see that.
So did a doctor do that, or did they call in the bomb squad?
But
how did they extract that thing?
You know, I didn't see that part of it, but I would if I'm the doctor, I'm calling in the bomb squad. I'm not sticking my hand up your behind if you're there's a bullet in there.
The bomb squad's not qualified to do surgery to remove an 8-inch artillery shell from somebody's ass. I mean, that's just insane.
That's crazy.
My daughter just gave me the strangest look. Yes.
That's what we're talking about. Yes. Oh, Minix getting strange looks there on Radio Row. Our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage continues live from San Francisco as we look forward to this week. It's a great week leading up to the biggest game in sports, without a doubt, the biggest game in sports, the Super Bowl. The Patriots, Seahawks will go head-to-head. Saw some video a little bit earlier, Minix, on ESPN that the Patriots landed. They got this pretty schwanky plane, all painted up with the Patriots logo and all that stuff.
Yeah, they got a couple of those. So they get the first touchdown of the week since they got here first.
They did. Hey, I wonder if that was a bet. I don't know. We'll continue live from San Francisco here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The 50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The Headline Blitz is brought to you by Novo Brazil Brewing Company, San Antonio's newest sports watching destination with over 60 feet of LED video walls and 80 craft beers and kombucha on tap. Novo is attached to North Star Mall and open late hours to serve you. If you haven't checked out the new Novo Brazil Brewing Company attached to North Star Mall, what are you waiting for? We're talking craft beers and kombucha on tap, a handcrafted food menu, 8 massive LED screens. This is San Antonio's newest sports watching destination. It's Novo Brazil Brewing Company's first Texas location and is conveniently attached to North Star Mall and open late hours to serve you. Fresh Novo Poke Nachos, Picanha Prime Sirloin, burgers, and more. Novo Brazil Brewing Company. Go to novobrew.com. That's NOVObrew.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073.
Hey, I got you something. What's this? Just a little Galentine's gift from Jewelry Television. JTV, I love their jewelry. I had my eye on this pearl bracelet on JTV.com. Plus, I love their colored gemstone jewelry. And oh, have you seen their gold?
Right now, take up to 70% off select jewelry and gifts at JTV.com.
You are not going to believe their gemstones and their artisan collections. Gorgeous. Are you going to open your gift? It's the pearl bracelet.
Visit JTV.com.
Most people in radio commercials talk really fast. But we made this one for RV owners. Progressive knows they like the slower pace of RV life, like this commercial. And they know Progressive will protect their RV at a fair price with discounts. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Round up your foursome, your work crew, your weekend golf buddies, even the ladies, and get ready for a fun, laid-back day at the Golf Club of Texas. Monday, March 30th. Lock in a team for just $500 for a foursome, or jump in solo for $150 per player and spend the day talking trash, crushing drives, and laughing your way around the course. This isn't a stuffy golf club tournament. It's golf the way it should be. The Spring Golf Classic benefits feeding animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, so you're having a great time for a great cause. Presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. And when the last putt drops, the day is just getting started. Join us for the after party at the 90 Proof Bar at Lucky Ranch Road and Highway 90. Cold drinks, great food, and all the post-round storytelling you can handle. So pick your team, claim your spot, and tee up with San Antonio's Sports Star. Sign up your foursome now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Super Bowl week, and that means Radio Row, and always all kinds of excitement happening on Radio Row. This year in San Francisco, Jason Minix is live in San Francisco. They're at the convention center with all the excitement. And Jason, I got to tell you, our good friend Clarence Hill just had a bunch of Cowboys around him. C.D. Lamb, George Pickens, and then a former Cowboy by the name of Michael Parsons.
Or Micah, Jerry. But yeah, Joe, I did see that. He's over at the Pro Bowl practice that is going on. And so far what he tweeted out was George Pickens basically saying that it would have been cool to have a Micah Parsons on their defense. Go figure. It is interesting, though, after the quote-unquote divorce, that Micah Parsons is hanging around all his former teammates while out here in San Francisco for the Pro Bowl games. Dude didn't want to leave Dallas. Remember that weird thing that Green Bay posted the other day a week ago about Parsons loving it Green Bay? You could just tell by who he's hanging out with where he would rather be. He would rather be with the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, dude, no offense to Green Bay, but who the hell would want to live in Green Bay?
Not me.
No. It's too damn cold for one thing, and it's I wouldn't want to do that. A lot of stuff going on today, which is interesting. There's that, and then you've got this report from Brian Windhorst, Jason, talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves are getting aggressive before the trade deadline on the 5th, which I believe is Thursday, saying that they want Giannis. The Timberwolves want Giannis, and according to Windhorst, Giannis wants to go to Minnesota. But they can't get the deal done without some other teams involved. Could the Spurs be one of those teams?
Well, I mean, they could be, because when you look at a Naz Reid or a Jaden McDaniels, maybe even a Bobby Portis, if they're able to add a piece or two without giving up how much, and granted, for those kind, what are you really going to give up? But I do think it will take multiple teams for anybody to get Giannis out of Milwaukee, for Milwaukee to get what they want in return. It does feel like it would be a multiple team deal if it were to happen. The two parts of it that are a little surprising is, as we get closer to the deadline, Giannis wants out. Okay, that's not a surprise. Is Milwaukee willing to part ways with them? But then him saying I mean, granted, all reporting, we haven't heard this from Giannis, that he would be okay going to Minnesota. Now, granted, Milwaukee and Minnesota probably similar in a lot of ways, but last time we went through this with Giannis, it was New York. Pick a team. Do you want Brooklyn or do you want the Knicks? He wanted to go big city. Now he wants to go to Minneapolis. Other than Minnesota being more likely to win sooner than Milwaukee under the current situation, would anything really change for Giannis?
Well, I think he'd be on a better team for sure. I mean, there's a lot more talent on that Minnesota team than there is on that Milwaukee team. And you've got the Timberwolves, who are right there in the thick of things in the Western Conference. So I just think from that standpoint, it could. Now reading articles since we heard about this, it may not happen. Giannis may not go anywhere this year, but that the Timberwolves are going to be aggressive. If they don't get Giannis, they're going to get somebody. So we'll see. But I would love to see the Spurs be involved in something like that. Not a blockbuster deal, but if you could be a rider on a coattail and something like that, and pick up a piece that you need, I think to me, Naz Reid would be outstanding in San Antonio. I don't know if that's too big a fish to be thinking about or not, but something I'd like to see them make an improvement before the trade deadline comes and goes.
Well, and you look at Minnesota currently sitting in the 5th seed at 31-19. They know, I think, that right now, are they a championship level team? No, they're really good, but are they championship level? So can they add a piece that can make them more competitive or put them over the top? If you're Minnesota, that's what you're thinking. The Spurs is still the 2 seed. The idea of what they need hasn't changed over the last several weeks. A 3-and-D type or another big. But we also know the Spurs. I don't see the Spurs doing anything blockbuster-ish, but can they add a piece that makes sense, that isn't overly expensive? They've got all those picks in the world, and Jeremy Sohan, although I do think Jeremy Sohan ultimately will be gone by the end of the week, but what you get in return is going to be who knows? It feels like they're doing whatever they can to do him a solid to get him out. Not playing over the last couple of games, and they can't we're not playing him because he's on the trade block, but they're trying to move him. But I don't know I don't think they're going to get anything in return that's going to create headlines.
Well, no, I don't think so either. But look, they're playing well. They played well last night. Wemby seems to be fitting in with the physical play the teams are putting on him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this happens down the stretch. All-Star break is certainly right around the corner. If you haven't heard, Mitch Johnson will be coaching the West All-Stars. So congratulations to Mitch Johnson and the San Antonio Spurs. We continue our live coverage from Radio Row. AA Best Bail Bonds is sponsoring that. And I tell you what, we are close to, is it Shawn Syed? Is that how you say that, Jason?
Yes.
Sumner,
I'll find out for sure, but I think.
Well, I'm glad you don't know for sure either.
Yeah.
Yes, from Sumner Sports. He's going to join us here coming up in the next segment. And looking forward to his analysis because these Sumner Sports folks, they're pretty damn smart. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but they're pretty damn smart when it comes to the numbers and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll look forward to Shawn when we continue. AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage. Jason Minix is out there live in San Francisco. I'm Joe Reinagle back here at the ranch. We continue here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First of all, I got to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Love talking about Stevens Roofing. Great company, local company, family-owned company. And you know what? They're just downright nice folks. They really are nice folks. Not to mention the fact that they've been in business since 1983. Just think about that for a minute. 1983. Stevens Roofing has been in business. That is an incredible thing to remember because, well, it should tell you everything you need to know about their reputation, about the work that they do, and how they stand behind their work. And now, well, Stevens Roofing is adding solar to what they do. That's right. Stevens Roofing and Solar, 210-785-0994. If you've been thinking about it, talking about it, getting solar panels on your house, now is the time to start making that plan come true. And you want to call the best in the business, Stevens Roofing and Solar, 210-785-0994. Look, if you think something wrong with your roof, maybe during that freeze and the rain, you noticed that you had, maybe a leak, maybe something going on with your roof that you want to get checked out. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar. They'll send a crew out to your house. And they'll inspect your roof for free, and they'll let you know if there is anything wrong or if you're okay. Either way, you can trust what they say because, well, again, they've been in business since 1983. That is something else. Stevens Roofing and Solar, 210-785-0994, or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, more from Rob on Radio Row out in San Francisco as we get you ready for the Super Bowl and A ton of hoops to talk as we get one day closer to that mega matchup between the Spurs and the Thunder. Don't be late. Party starts at 6 a.m.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Huffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
What's wrong, Cupid?
Lost my mojo. These arrows just don't work like they used to. The facts are people falling in love thanks to Kinetico, not poor old Cupid.
You don't say.
Oh, absolutely. Look over there. She's got silky smooth hair thanks to a Kinetico water softener. He's got softer skin and cleaner clothes, and now they're all lovey-dovey. Makes me sick.
Don't feel bad, Cupid. You still have your bow and arrow.
I know a Kinetico runs on kinetic energy like my bow and arrow. There's no computer to break. A Kinetico has it all.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Kinetico of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
You know, you're right. I love my Kinetico, too. My diapers never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good.
Cupid, you can always come to work for me, but you're going to have to wear pants.
KineticoSA.com.
License number 38961.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all of the pregame excitement leading up to the superb Owl. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Back on this mellow Monday. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel here in San Antonio. Out in San Francisco is Jason Minix, and he's live on Radio Row as we get ready for the big game coming up this Sunday. Going to be a good one. And I know as we get closer into the week and the guests start to appear and we're talking about the big game, I'm going to get really excited about this. I think it's going to be one of those games, Jason, that I think people are going to be surprised how nip and tuck and close this thing will be.
You know, it's interesting, and we've got some data types that will talk about that, but now I'm trying to think. Last time we were at a Super Bowl and we thought, man, this game is going to suck and it's going to be a blowout. And, you know, unfortunately, we've had Super Bowls that were like that. In fact, the last time that I remember thinking, man, this game is going to be a blowout was when the Seahawks beat the Denver Broncos in New York. You know, if memory serves, you know, not a lot of people thought that Denver was going to be there, and quite frankly, or Seattle. That was a year that everybody thought the 49ers were going to win. They lost, and then, of course, Seattle won in a blowout there in New York. So it'll be interesting to see ultimately how it all plays out, but it will be on New England's defense, or does Sam Darnold remember who he is? And look, Sam Darnold is going to have to live with that expectation, if you will, until he doesn't have that Sam Darnold moment. No different than Dak Prescott in the playoffs. No different than C.J. Stroud in the playoffs. Until they do it, there's always going to be some doubt that they can get it done. What I find interesting is, you know, and I think about there was a kid named Max Brown. I saw this piece a couple of days ago. I remember when Max Brown was in the All-American Bowl, and he was going to be the next great USC quarterback. And he gets to USC, and it's not quite what he thought it was going to be, and then he lost his job to Sam Darnold. And you know, hearing him talk about and see Sam Darnold's success while Max is now doing some regional broadcasting work instead of living out the NFL dreams everybody thought he was going to have. The one thing that he said is Sam is still the same guy, and Sam was the one that was the nicest to him going through what he went through since he took his job. But you know, and basically the piece was dealing with the adversity, because up until this point, Sam Darnold hasn't lived up to his expectations when he got into the league where he was drafted, and he's finally playing on the stage everybody thought he was going to be coming out of USC. But he still has that doubt in, you know, that, yep, Sam Darnold could get sacked 9 times and throw 5 interceptions. Well, and until he has a game where he doesn't on this stage, he's going to have that.
See, I look at it completely different. Sam Darnold, and I don't know why he's not getting respect. He's won 14 games with 2 different teams 2 years in a row. He may have had the best quarterback performance, certainly one of them, of the year in that game against the Rams or 2 weeks ago, whenever the hell the championship game was. The guy's playing fantastic. But I'm afraid you're right. If he comes out of here and New England ends up winning the Super Bowl, it's going to be bad. Well, Sam Darnold can't get it done. Well, guess what? Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl. Those other 2 guys you mentioned have never made it to the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that haven't made it this far. So I'm just wondering when the Sam Darnold disrespect ends. I hope he has a horrible game, because I'm going to put my money on the New England Patriots. But as far as his reputation, though, my goodness, and what he's done on the field, 28 games over the last 2 years, that's pretty damn good.
Well, it is, but again, until you look at it and you get everything figured out, and to your point, though, even like a week ago in the NFC Championship game, you're going with the quarterback and the coach you trust the most. And because in big games, you know, people are still going to reference what he did with the Jets and big turnover games and seeing ghosts and that sort of stuff. So until Sam Darnold erases that, that's ultimately how it is going to be. Now, you know, we can talk some numbers about it because Shawn Syed is sitting down with us from Sumner Sports. Shawn, how's your day, man?
It's going great. You know, I hear you talking about Sam Darnold and numbers. You get me all.
We'll see. Absolutely. You know, you got the other voice in your head is Joe Reinagel back in the studio down in San Antonio. But you know, we're Sam Darnold, until he can win on this stage, there's that one question. Is he going to have that 4-interception game? Is he going to take 9 sacks? Will it be on him to erase the narrative that he's dealt with throughout his NFL career?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair thought. It's a fair question. But when I look back to the NFC Championship game, they don't win that game without the way Sam Darnold played. So that means so much to me. Like, Mike McDonald is like, I mean, one of my favorite defensive coordinators, and he's put together such a good unit. But I think you ask him, and he knows it. Like, they won because of Darnold. So I think for us to have that example just that week back, like, that is really, really cool to be able to have to go into the Super Bowl.
You know, Shawn, it's amazing, though. You can talk all those numbers you want. We can talk about, Darnold's won 28 games over the last 2 years, 2 different teams. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just the fan in all of us, we just don't give the young man the credit that I think he deserves unless he wins this game coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one team that gets to win the Super Bowl every year. So me personally, like, I think there's more than one good team every single season. So I agree where when you look at, I think Darnold, maybe different parts of his season, like, you definitely had some ups and some downs. And I think that's absolutely kind of a fair thing to point out. But it's kind of cool to think that, like, you're just one win away from, like, football immortality. Like, Sam Darnold, of all people, I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, like, thinking about, like, the way that different teams fans look at Darnold, for us to be here is so cool.
But isn't that the same? I mean, we're a Cowboys affiliate, and the narrative around a Dak Prescott, or before that, Tony Romo, great regular season quarterback, no playoff success. Until you actually do it, people are going to doubt you.
Yeah, I think, look, that's fair. I just think, like, do I think Dak Prescott is a top-end quarterback in this league? He just is. Like, I think that it would be really tough for you to just lose Dak Prescott tomorrow. Like, unfortunately, we've seen for the Cowboys what it looks like when you do lose Dak Prescott. That's a little bit of a tough situation. So I don't personally think you can only evaluate the person on, okay, well, has this person won the big game? Obviously, it's a very, very important thing. I'm just like, I feel like Darnold has it in him. Like, you just got to do it one more time. Like, we just saw it in the NFC Championship game. So it's going to be fun because I think the Patriots can do a lot of things to make his life hard. But it's going to be interesting, I think, to say the least.
All right, Shawn, then I've got to ask you this. What do you guys, when you're researching all your stats and your numbers and all of that, the biggest knock on the Patriots this year is they didn't play anybody. They haven't played anybody. So it's like, they don't deserve to be here, yada, yada, yada. What do your numbers tell us about the New England Patriots and their journey to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely say that. The Patriots, of course, don't get to choose who is on their schedule. You get to see, well, in the playoffs, like, they played these very, very tough defenses and things look one way or the other. I think that football is a small sample size sport. We only have a handful of games overall, but you still look at it and it's like, hey, if you're really, like, efficient on offense against these teams, like, that is just such a positive thing to have. So I do think that I get the legitimate questions and all that, but I'm happy that all that just gets thrown out the door. Like, if they win, it doesn't matter who they played from weeks 1 to week 10. Like, none of that is going to matter at all. If you're able to you make Sam Darnold's life hard, if you're able to be effective on the ground, if you're able to have Drake May avoid some of those sacks and create some of those explosive plays.
Now, there's a lot of ifs there. And for a Daniel analyst, you don't deal in ifs. Shawn Syed joining us here with Sumner Sports. For people that don't know what Sumner is and what you do, real quick, what do you do and what is Sumner Sports?
Yeah, Sumner Sports, it's a football analytics company where we're a platform where we have our whole entire scouting department, XGMs, where we're evaluating every player. And then on top of that, you're building from the tech world, people with these AI analyses where we're taking the tracking data for every single player. How fast is this player moving? How quick are they accelerating? What coverage are they going to be? And you're able to take all of that and now build insights to support player evaluation, to support roster building, to support teams really, hopefully be able to kind of build in a certain way and win games.
Shawn, how much of that, when you do that, you see a guy maybe that has all of that, the speed, the quickness, the size, but they don't turn out to be somebody? I mean, how often are you guys wrong, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's a fair question.
That's absolutely a fair question. I think it's like the hit rates in the NFL draft, for example, are low. They just are, right? Like, GMs are getting fired every 3 years, sometimes less than that. Even like a early quarterback that you're selecting, a lot of times that's a coin flip. So you're at those kinds of things, you're just saying, are you doing better than kind of what the average is? Like, it's really unfortunate that it is so hard to draft players in the NFL. And to me, that's why it's like, okay, well, you absolutely have to have a film evaluation. You absolutely have to have a look into the kind of personality on the person and the fit with the player in a certain team. But if you're not using some data where it's like, okay, do I know if Quinton Mitchell from Toledo is actually moving as fast as some of these players at a higher level, well, like we can track how fast that guy's moving. We can track exactly how he's moving in a game. Now we have situations like a Puka Nacua who's being drafted in whatever the 5th round, but he is able to produce kind of at that same level because those kind of minute details that you're able to pick up in advanced data.
All right, so the draft is still a couple of months away. Cowboys affiliate, they've got 2 first-round draft picks. They don't have a second. They don't have a third. They have to hit on these 2 picks, right? What are the numbers telling you that they'll be successful with the 12th and 20th overall pick?
Yeah, probably like 50%. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I do think, though, that's an important reality where, like, to me, it's like these resources, I mean, they are so important to have that cost control. That's how you're literally able to build your team. But, yeah, the first overall pick, like look at the historical hit rates for that pick. It is not 75. It's not 85. It's not 100. And now as you go further, like the curve really dips kind of after that number 12-ish type spot where 12 is actually kind of ideal in a few different ways. So yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. Yeah, it's a little bit of a toss up. But hey, the beautiful thing about that is like, it's a small sample size. You just got to hit twice, and we're good.
Just hit twice.
It's all
leaving Vegas with a pocket full of money.
Just an easy one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll ask you about a certain player, not to put you on the spot, Shawn, but Sonny Styles. I've seen every mock draft there is have the Cowboys taking this linebacker with that 12th pick. What do you know about this kid?
I mean, I think it would be tough to like thinking about just a pure linebacker at that 12 spot. Like that is a cost value proposition. Like that's just a little bit tough. Like you really have to feel like, is this guy going to be able to rush off the edge for you? Is this like, even if he's an every down linebacker, just thinking about the way the rookie wage scale works, like taking a linebacker at 12, it's a little bit rich. I think so. I'm curious. I think the Cowboys actually historically have been amongst the other teams, like actually quite good early on in the draft. So I'd be really interested to see if they're going just linebacker at that
I see you say that. I mean, I know Jerry Jones is the general manager, but Will McClay does GM duties. Your opinion of Will McClay in the role that he's in?
I mean, I'm curious how you guys are going to feel about this, but like, I mean, they constantly draft and develop good offensive line. Like they're able to bring in Dak Prescott with a later pick. Like I think you should feel pretty good. Am I going to get anything thrown at me for saying
no? I mean, because like everything else, there's some big whiffs in there.
Of course, there has to be.
But there's also some late round talent that has worked out, and for the most part, first and second round have been pretty good for the Cowboys. I mean, we can give you some examples of guys that have just completely sucked, like Taco Charlton, but for the most. Mozzie Smith. But for the most part, Will McClay does a hell of a job. I know Jerry takes the credit and then passes the blame to Steven or somebody else when it doesn't work out. But overall, I think he does a solid job in scouting. But what always makes every Cowboy fan nervous, especially this year, they need help on defense. And those 2 picks, I think most Cowboy fans want them to be defensive players. Mm-hmm. And we know Jerry Jones might fall in love with the shiny object, a nice, speedy wide receiver. The hell with what they need. What can we do? Like when they drafted a CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I think it's tough because like your needs today, like they're not your needs tomorrow. It just shifts so quick. Like a player gets injured or like you lose a player on your roster to free agency. So like the way that shifts in your needs happen so quick. Sometimes I hesitate to be like, all right, well, I'm going to draft this one player that's going to play the one position that I'm quote short of, because you're not just one position short. No team is ever one position short. Like it's always going to be more factors than that. So that's why sometimes I think particularly early on in the first round, it feels like, well, let's lean on the guy that we have the highest grade of. And that's where you get, I think, some of these positive situations.
All right, Shawn, I have to ask you just because I'm curious. When you go to work every day, what does your day consist of? Are you just watching film and writing down numbers? What do you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's a lot of film. It's a lot of looking at our kind of advanced metrics and being like, all right, well, I know George Pickens that had like an absolutely incredible season this year. Like, is it kind of matching up? And then you go at the play level and say, all right, well, is our model really grading a player kind of what is actually happening or what their role is on the field? So it's definitely a lot of that. It's figuring out, well, like, how can we tell some of these stories about some of these players with some of this data and really use that to improve our evaluation and taking that kind of film side to that data together.
All right. So with that, what does the data say about Pickens and how much money he's going to make this year, the kind of contract that he's going to end up? Will Dallas do that, or will Dallas put the franchise tag on him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're just looking at it from a roster building perspective, I think the franchise tag makes a heck of a lot of sense, just because, I mean, his season from like production-wise, like, it was top end. Like it really was. Like that's kind of hard to fight. So Pickens, I think if you're betting on yourself, that you're able to hit there. So I'm curious just about some of the things where, like, how are you feeling just in the locker room? How are you feeling about kind of everything that's going on there together? But I mean, I would like, it would stink for Pickens because obviously I just want to see him get paid like every dollar in the world. But it does feel like, hey, that franchise tag I think is probably a smart approach there.
All right, Shawn. Well, that brings up an interesting question because we know George Pickens has the talent, but the biggest knock on the guy's been between the ears. And you know how he performs and throws temper tantrums. And look, if Mike Tomlin gets rid of you, that's a red flag for me. Obviously, he was a first-class citizen all the way around in Dallas this year. But was that because he's playing for a contract, you think? And how do you guys judge that when it comes to that stuff between the ears?
Yeah, that some of the stuff you're never, I think, going to be able to see in numbers. But I will say sometimes you can look at, okay, is this player like just moving at like a way less miles per hour at certain points in the game? Is that a player that's maybe taking some things off here and there? But yeah, you have to have, like, you had Pickens in the building. Like, yes, I get maybe you look a little bit different on a contract year after just out of human nature. But if you're building the infrastructure there and like you have the situation where like he likes the quarterback because Dak Prescott throws that nice ball up the seam and is happy to kind of push the ball on the outside to him, like I think maybe you feel pretty good about that because at the same time, whatever is going on with situations that we've seen on the field, off the field, like, I mean, was a really productive player for the Cowboys this season.
But there were some times where it seemed like he was frustrated and checked out. Did I, off the top of your head, do you know, did the numbers bear that out as well with looking at your data?
I think in that you can see like, okay, well, dips in like the easy one to look at is like, oh, this player's just like not moving at a certain level, kind of different points. But also, I mean, look, we all watch the Cowboys game. You can see it with your eyes. You can see when he gets frustrated. So like, and I would like, you get frustrated on a football field. Like, I'm not going to blame a person. Like, it's not the healthiest, I would say, labor environment. It's not as nice just being here talking to you fine folks. So it is definitely a situation where like you have to, like, I really like what Brian Schottenheimer did kind of with this whole entire, like the infrastructure. I'm really excited about Christian Parker being there. I think that's a really, really fun addition as well. So you're hoping you just have this like total package that's able to kind of get players to buy in.
The diva rule with wide receivers, Shawn, that's what you got to factor in, right? Because I think all of them are divas to some extent.
Look, I mean, you catch the ball, you get thousands of yards. You get to act how you want.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you know, you guys are going to start doing a draft show called The Evaluation. That seems like, for all the draft nerds out there, this is far better than just looking at every mock draft, right?
I mean, I personally think so. I'm not going to...
You're biased. It's okay.
I'm not going to mock you if you love the mock drafts. I like a mock draft. But yeah, the evaluation, it's going to be a really fun show where we're combining that world of this really, really advanced data where we're taking that sort of part and then marrying it to that scouting side where we have people who have been in those rooms that have had to make those decisions that are going to give you their evaluation. And then we can look at it and say, well, why does the data say this about this player? Why does it not say this about a different player? So I think it's going to be a really fun way. It's already shot. It was a fun project to be a part of.
Where can people find it?
You can find it on YouTube, on the Sumer Sports YouTube channel.
I love it. I can't wait to watch that, in all honesty, as we get closer to the draft. So when does this start? Have you guys started already, Shawn?
It's going to be out right after the Super Bowl.
Right after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So soon. What does the data say on who's going to win on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, the data, of course, it's going to push towards the Seahawks. They're the favorite. I do think, though, when you dig a little bit deeper, there are a lot of parts where the Patriots may be able to cause them some problems. I'm thinking over that center, over that right guard for the Seahawks, where a guy like Milton Williams for the Patriots, I mean, he's going to be able to get a lot of pressure. I think it's going to be a really, really fun game where I can't see it as just like, oh, this is going to be some huge blowout.
So, Shawn, you're telling me I should take the 5 points in the Patriots, right?
You know, I'm not here to give any advice like that, but it feels like logically you're pushing in an interesting direction.
Just say yes or no.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Exactly. Shawn, Syed, Sumner Sports. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good stuff here on Radio Row. And we met them a couple years ago. Lindsay Rhodes, who will be on here in a bit. The numbers they have is incredible.
It really
is. And more NFL types are following what they're doing. So if you're one of those numbers geeks, you certainly want to start following them.
You know what I loved about Shawn, Jason, I know we're up against it, but I threw out names, you threw out names, and he just, off the top of his head, man, he's just got it there. They're very smart folks there at Sumner Sports for sure.
Yeah, a lot smarter than we are, but they're just following the numbers.
Don't tell anybody, all right? Don't tell anybody, because we may have one or two people fooled. I'm just saying, they may be out there. It's possible.
Maybe.
We continue our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage, powered by Smokey Mo's Texas Barbecue and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Jason Minnick's out in San Francisco. He will return, and it is a Mellow Monday, so stay tuned. Mellow Mushroom, $50 gift card coming your way when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And out here in San Francisco, we know the biggest game in football is coming up this Sunday. You want to get in on all the action right in Texas, you can with Underdog. The best place to go make all your picks and win money, and it's easy. You make your picks on if a player you think is going to go higher or lower on predicted stats, whether it's passing yards, rushing yards, receptions, targets, the kicking points. I always like to look at. Get them all right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, they have new promos dropping daily in the app. So if you like making picks and winning money, and who doesn't, Underdog is the place to be for the big game. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Do it now. Download the app. Use promo code STAR, and you're going to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. Again, promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh New brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Weather and mechanical issues were the Spurs' biggest opponent this past weekend. Spurs were delayed out of Charlotte over the weekend. That pushed the Spurs game in San Antonio against the Magic last night to an 8 o'clock tip-off. But they beat the Magic 112-103, led by Victor Wembanyama's 25 points, 8 boards, 5 blocks. Spurs return to action Wednesday when they take on the Thunder in OKC. Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson, he will coach the West All-Stars.
Live from AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row in San Francisco with coverage leading up to Sunday's big game. It's The Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Always a fun week. This week's going to be no exception. It is our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. I'm Joe Reinagel back here in San Antonio. Out in San Francisco, the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. I've heard it called a little bit of everything. That would be one Jason Minix who is out and about. And, oh, my goodness, look there. Look at a special guest.
It's royalty. The King of England.
The King of England.
The King of England has made it over here. The great Will Gavin from Talk Sport had a little flight on the way over.
I'm not on. Which one am I?
You're on.
Or am I? I can't hear myself.
I can't
hear
yourself.
anything.
He's a radio professional.
Yeah. Well, see, he's not used to having to touch a button because, you know, in his world, he sits down and his producers put the headphones on. And
I don't lift a finger, brother.
You don't. You don't. You don't. You, my friend. Well, good to see you.
Hey, buddy.
You had some calls.
It's been a year.
Go viral. Calling games to where even like Richard Sherman tweeted, "I need this dude's energy on American calls." Have you gotten a new agent? When are you going to be on American television calling games?
So Sherm, as I now know him,
yes,
he's here on Wednesday morning and he's doing his own podcast. The only interview he's doing with anyone other than his own podcast is with us. It's absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what happened today? Because you probably won't have seen it yet because you've been on air.
Yeah.
Went down to do some Pro Bowl interviews, went down for the NFC practices. Christian McCaffrey recognized me from the call and told me that more people contacted him about the call than they did about the play itself. So it's been mad. It's just been the wildest year and it's been absolutely lovely. But yeah, it's weird to suddenly walk around Radio Row and be recognized not for the gregarious, over the top, loud, drunken Englishman who sometimes turns up at the media party and makes a fool of himself.
Never. Will, I've got to tell you something though, because you're huge. I'm in this summer vacation, holiday, as you guys call it.
Thank you very much.
As you call it, holiday in Mexico, and I hear people talking like this. They've got the British accent, and so I asked if they knew you, and it's like, yeah, everybody. Dude, you really could be the King of England, I think.
Stop. To answer the original question, if a team wants to offer me a job, I am very much available and would move here in a heartbeat. I will take Almost any team. Would I take any team?
No.
Yes, you would.
Who's retiring soon? Like, I'm trying to think. The problem is, like, the radio play-by-play guys are incredible. Like, you see the comments on the videos, and it's always people saying, like, oh, and we have to deal with and talk about the TV guys. I'm like, but that's a whole different vibe. If you go and listen to Paul Allen or Greg Papa or, Steve Rabel or whoever it might be, the radio guys here are amazing. I'm not getting one of those jobs anytime soon. But if somebody wants to, retire and let me in,
what about
I'll
some
take
sort
it.
of all these different networks, Will, that have alternate broadcasts? One, you do a hell of a job at play-by-play. As a play-by-play guy, you're spot on with everything, but then you add in your accent, and it just goes to another level. But you are top tier, and we've talked to you for years. I mean, over in London, you're like a Scott Van Pelt type celebrity. Here,
I'm not sure it's that level.
Well, I mean, you're modest, right? But the idea that can that end up translating to where you can actually move to the United States, where you'll get far better barbecue than that crap you got to deal with over there in London?
You are not wrong about that by any stretch of the imagination. I will happily come to the great state of Texas if it means I get to eat Texas barbecue on the regular. Then I really will be huge, if for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, I like I say, at some point, maybe it'll happen, and hopefully it will, and I would love to come and work out here. But I'm really happy doing what we're doing, and we've got a great week ahead of us with the Super Bowl, and we've got some great interviews and stuff. So, like, I'm just enjoying myself. It has, like, I joked about it, but it has been weird coming to the media center today for the first time and having a bunch of people who don't know us. Like, we've known you guys for years, and we've been friends since Houston, maybe 52,
maybe
the first one we hung out.
Maybe before that.
What was the year before? It was here in 50. I can't remember what 51 was now. Maybe
was that Atlanta?
Yeah, maybe. But like around that sort of time, we've been buddies since then. But like just random people coming up and saying, like, like I had a guy earlier who is an Arabic play-by-play guy who in Saudi Arabia calls NFL games in Arabic for Middle Eastern TV so they can broadcast the games there, and came up to me and was like, oh my God, I love your calls. And I was like, sorry, you call NFL in Arabic and you're coming to me like I have it easy, mate. You're more impressive than I am by a country mile, trust me.
All right, Will, I've got to ask you, because we talk about this all the time, it seems like every Super Bowl, but Europe, I mean, it was just announced again today that the NFL is going to play in France. And I mean, it's just all over Europe. Is it really that big and growing as it looks like from us here in the States?
Yeah, it's huge in the UK now, like absolutely massive. And Germany in particular has a really, really big market for it. Like you go to the games in Germany and every bar you go to is full of NFL fans, and they are proper hardcore fans as well. I think some of these new countries that they're pushing into maybe don't have that same level of commitment that the kind of countries where it's already got a really big fan base like Germany, like the UK. But we saw very passionate fans in Spain last year in Madrid. And again, for a turgid game between the Dolphins and the Commanders, like it was kind of a fun game because there were like four.
What did you call it? Turgid.
there were like four fourth down goal line stops in the game, so that was fun.
Yeah,
but it was also incredibly low scoring and decided on like an overtime interception and a short field goal. Like it was one of those games that was just a bit ugly. But we did see some really good passionate fans there, and we saw some like. I think France will be I think there'll be a lot of people travel from Germany. A lot of people will travel from the UK, and maybe with it being the Saints, we'll get a lot of people coming from New Orleans as well. Like there's obviously that big like French link with them as well. So like. I think it'll be amazing. The Stade de France is a fantastic venue. The Saints are an improving team. Like the last 6 games of the season, Tyler Shock looked like an actual quarterback who might be able to take that team forward. So I'm super excited about it. Plus, it's local enough to me that I can jump on a Eurotunnel at like 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, go to the game, do the game, and be back home in my own bed that night. Like it's basically just outside of London. So it's great for me.
That works. Will Gavin from Talk Sport joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. You think about the rise in popularity with the NFL overseas, and there was I forget who said it the other day, maybe Robert Kraft, when the 18th game comes, every team would have to have an international
100%.
game.
I thought that's what it was going to be with the 17th game. I thought they'd get the 17th game and you'd turn it into 8 home games, 8 road games, 1 neutral site game. Now it sounds like they want to go to 18, do the 1 neutral site game, and still keep that weird 9-8 rotation thing that they're doing at the moment. But yeah, that is 2030 when the new CBA comes in. I can almost put my house on it. They will increase the season to 18 games. They'll put an extra bye week in so that we can have the Super Bowl will be on President's Day weekend, in February. And we will see every team play a neutral site game every single season. I really believe that.
Well, look, and I think they should. I mean, look, the NFL's not, they're not dumb, right? I mean, they know there's a lot of money over in Europe, and they're taking advantage of it. I tell you, is it true, Will, and you could answer this, I heard that in Germany, there's a lottery for tickets, that there's millions of people that want a ticket to the game, but only about 80,000 can go, and they pick them in a lottery system. Is that accurate?
It is akin to what Taylor Swift had to do for her tour. Like, it's that kind of level where you have to pre-register and then get a code if you've pre-registered to allow you into the sales. They can keep those numbers down. The first time they had a game in Munich, and we were there for it, was Seahawks Bucks, the Brady Bucks, which obviously was a big deal, that having Tom Brady in for the first game in Germany. But I think there was people were posting their queues on Ticketmaster when it comes up, and there were people north of 1 million in the queue.
Wow.
And you think that people are buying 4 tickets, not 1 ticket. Unless you're in the first 20,000 people in that queue, you ain't getting a ticket. So I think I'm amazed that Germany isn't getting multiple games yet. I think they should be getting probably 2 or 3 games like London does, but I don't want it to go away from London. So keep giving us games.
Well, but what the part that kind of surprises me is often as games are happening over there, it doesn't feel like the novelty is worn off, or there's one game every couple of years, so you get 1 million people in the queue. Seems like they could have one a week, and you're still going to have that level of interest. And as long as there's money to be made, the NFL is going to go get it.
There is a little bit of the UK fan base is starting to get a bit frustrated with the quality of the games that they're getting.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much like now that they've got this new system with the 17 games and everyone is going to have to play a home game on the road at some point in a 4-year cycle. It's not that we're not getting some decent teams, but it does feel like what they see is Brazil gets, Eagles Chiefs, and we get Jets Broncos 10-6.
Yeah.
The Jets. Do you know how many passing yards the Jets had, net passing yards the Jets had when they played the Broncos at Tottenham?
The number of hours it took you to fly here.
No. -51.
Oh, that's right. That was that game.
That's right.
That's that
They
game.
had 9 sacks and only 36 passing yards. It was a -50 passing yard game. I called it. So, we like all sorts of games over there, but there are definitely, I think this year they could really do with sending a marquee matchup to the UK just to placate those people who have put a lot of time and money and effort into it over the last 20 years now, pretty much. 20 years in the 2027 season. So that is amazing.
Will, is there still talk about Jacksonville perhaps moving to
have you
London?
seen how much they're investing in the stadium and the area around it and stuff? They're not leaving Jacksonville now. They'll do 3 games in London in a couple of years' time while the stadium's being rebuilt. But part of the deal to have the stadium rebuilt is they have to stay in a local college stadium for, I think, 5 of the 8 home games to keep money in the local area. But I don't think we'll ever see a team move abroad now. I really think we've got beyond that. Unless they get to the 18 games, we do the neutral site game, and then 10 years later, they're like, Expansion League. Let's do a European division with a London team, a Berlin team, a Paris team, and a Madrid team, and let's go all out and have the AFC Europe or whatever it would end up being. But until we get to that point, I think we won't see a team outside the US.
All right. Well, the important thing now that you're a big celebrity over here in the United States, you're getting us into some good bars tonight. Where are we going drinking?
Tonight, well, it's Syed's opening night. We actually need to leave. That's why you're over here.
We're not going to open. That's in San Jose, over an hour away.
Yeah, I've got to be on a bus in 10 minutes to go and cover it, so I really need to go.
Yeah.
So tonight, nothing. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to the Warriors game, courtside and all of that.
You're not going to the media party?
I'm going to try and do both.
Yeah.
I'll go and shake Steph's hand and watch him throw some practice threes and then get on the bus down to the media party, obviously. Thursday, the Taste of Whiskey event. Let's do that.
Well, that and the cigar party.
Oh, I don't know if I'm invited to the cigar party.
I know people.
Yet. Well, I mean, if Dicker wants to invite me, I'll be there.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I need him to reach out personally, though.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I don't do it for a PR person.
Yeah. You're such a star. Well, have fun on the bus to San Jose.
Yeah, I've already got that. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. The great Will Gavin from Talk Sports. Such a great dude.
Now he's exploding, to say the least, over there in Europe. No doubt about it. Everybody knows him. So always good to talk to him. And I know that there will be a time and place where, you're going to have to prop him up, Minix. That happens every year.
It happens every year. How was it? New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Face down on Bourbon Street.
And I was telling everybody he was the king of England. Yeah. And they bought it.
Yeah. Right about the time you saw Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Yeah. Have you seen Jelly Roll lately?
I saw photos of him the other night at the Grammys.
He's skinny.
That GLP-1 stuff works.
I guess
Him
it
and Charles
does.
Barkley.
He claims he's not doing that though. That's just strictly working out and eating right. I don't know.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm not so sure either.
All.
No. We're going to continue live from San Francisco. Our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage continues right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, if you see me later in the week, I've got some logoed stuff here that I'm wearing on Super Bowl Radio Row with the 94.1. Not today, but I've got a couple of items. They're from Sammy's Embroidery and Printing over on San Pedro because, of course, they are. You need your logo on any kind of gear, Sam will get you taken care of. You need your logo on a half zip, on a polo shirt, a long sleeve shirt, a jacket, a hoodie. You name it, Sam will get you taken care of. He has over 700 uniform lines to choose from, all kinds of industries. Construction, restaurants, schools, leagues, medical. He's got all the big name brands: North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, Tommy Bahama. If you need hats done, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, and all the popular cap brands as well: the Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Katie caps, Nike, Cap America, to name a few. Nobody has better prices. No order too big, certainly no order too small. Call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900, or get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410 right across from the McDonald's, or check the website samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind the scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all of the pregame excitement leading up to the superb hour. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Hey, hockey fans, want to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia? Well, you can register to win the trip tonight at McIntyre Southtown. Jason Minix here. My friends from Flight by Yingling are hosting a watch party tonight as the Stars take on the Winnipeg Jets. Puck drops at 7:30. So head over to McIntyre Southtown location. You can win some great Flight by Yingling Dallas Stars gear during the game, like hats and t-shirts. And, of course, register to win the flyaway trip to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia March 29th. 29th. The flyaway package includes 2 game tickets, 2 round-trip airplane tickets, and a hotel. Must be at least 21 years of age to enter. And I can tell you from experience, hockey in Philly will be a great experience in an incredible atmosphere. Philly in late March, great time to visit the city of brotherly love. So head over to McIntyre Southtown after work today for a Dallas Stars watch party with Flight by Yingling, proud partner of the Dallas Stars and the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Fort Worth, Texas.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price as 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Celebrate the 17th annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day with PorkRinds.com and NFL legend Devin Hester. We're teaming up to support the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, helping retired players get the medical care they deserve. Want to get in the game? Visit PorkRinds.com to play their Crunch Time Hero game and enter daily to win a trip to the 2027 big game in LA, plus a year's supply of pork rinds. Grab the perfect low-carb snack and be your own Pork Rind Appreciation Day hero today at PorkRinds.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, more from Rob on Radio Row out in San Francisco as we get you ready for the Super Bowl and a ton of hoops to talk as we get one day closer to that mega matchup between the Spurs and the Thunder. Don't be late. Party starts at 6 a.m.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Well, let's head back out to San Francisco. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Out in the Bay Area is Jason Minix. And Minix, the Cowboys have signed somebody today. The Dallas Cowboys have signed quarterback Will Grier to a reserve future contract. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but they're signing people.
Well, I mean, that's just a business, making sure he's around for the offseason, making sure he can throw, go through OTAs. It just keeps him in the building so he doesn't go somewhere else. Not that big of a deal. Now, the guy that he's backing up, like the third backup for that is one Dak Prescott, who is here in San Francisco. And he talked earlier with Clarence Hill from All City Dallas, who's about 10 feet from us. We'll try to get Clarence on here in a bit. But it talked about a lot of different things, including getting healthy this offseason so, he can be healthy. And the fact that this year he actually did finish healthy.
No, for sure. It's huge. I mean, even honestly, it's what me and Christian McCaffrey were just talking about, right? Finishing this season healthy after, being in the league this long, understanding that injuries, little nicks and knacks come up, but to finish the season playing all the games and being healthy and getting to go into an off-season full go without having to, doctor something or bandage it is a blessing, and super, super thankful for it.
It's got to be good for him. I mean, a guy that suffered a couple of seasons where he didn't finish the season with severe injuries, and to finish the season healthy is a big deal. And I see where he would talk to Christian McCaffrey about that because they share that in common for sure.
Well, and of course, the other part is them not being a playoff team this year, despite how damn good that offense was.
Yeah, you just said it's disappointing, tough year, up and down. But at the end of the day, we, on offense, as much success as we had, we still didn't play complementary in those games that we needed to. You know, some of those games that we did win, the defense the one that stepped up and allowed us, right, to have an opportunity to win. You think about the Philly and you think about Kansas City. And so some of those games where they didn't play their best, we didn't play our best by scoring as many points as we could. So that's just the reality of this game and the team game. And it's important offseason. We know we got to get that side of the ball right, but we got to make sure that we aren't complacent with what we've done on our side of the ball. We've got to get one of our guys signed and make sure that we take a big step on offense as well.
You said get one of your guys signed.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the guy out here. The guy out here that doesn't have a contract, no matter in whichever way that they got to do it. He's an important piece of this offense, important piece of what we're trying to do. And so leave it to those guys. Obviously, if I need to get involved, I've said it before, I will. But confident in Jerry and everybody who makes those decisions and how much he means to us.
You know, it's interesting that he says that. If I need to get involved, do you think Jerry really gives a damn whether Dak – I mean, he can go on to say he did the same thing with Micah Parsons. I don't know if that matters to Jerry Jones.
You know, it might in this case, especially offensively versus Micah Parsons. You know, it's one thing to go to bat for your guy, but when your quarterback is saying, I need this wide receiver, look what we did, maybe that does carry some weight. Now, on the flip side, if Dak didn't want you there, no matter what he says to the media, if he went to Jerry and we're like, dude, this guy's a jerk. We can do well without him. I imagine that has to carry some weight as well.
I would imagine that would. I just don't know if, hey, I really need this guy. We fit well and get him signed, Jerry. I don't know. I don't know how much weight that holds. I'm sure it doesn't hurt, but I'm not sure that it's the thing that pushes Jerry Jones over the edge.
Unless it is more of, you're wanting me to restructure my deal, huh? All right, I'll do that if I know that restructure is going to pay George Pickens.
Yeah, but I don't think Dak has a choice. That's written into the contract.
That to a degree, I don't know. It depends on the language of the contract on the restructure. I know it's always assumed and they're going to get their money, but he has to agree to it. I don't know if it was predetermined that he's agreed to restructure it. We just all know that it always seems to happen and get done that way so they can free up cap space.
Yeah, I think most contract. I don't know his contract, but I think most of them it's in there. I don't think the players have a choice. It's a restructure and it's in a contract, but we'll see what happens. But again, Dak's going to get his money, but I'm not sure he can hold that over Jerry's head. Like, well, I'm not going to do that. I mean, he says he wants to win a Super Bowl. He needs to restructure his contract to get that done.
Very, very true.
Very true. All right. Hey, Lindsay Rhodes is coming up. And we talked to her last year, Jason, about Micah Parsons, and she was talking about what it would take to sign that guy. And well, he got a lot more money than we thought 1 year ago from this point in time. Unfortunately, he just got it, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, he got it with the Green Bay Packers and not the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what Lindsay has to say about this current state of the Cowboys and whether Dak can restructure his contract or not. We'll do that when we continue. Big game coverage, AA Best Bail Bonds. That's where Jason is out in San Francisco. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, if you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing, your AC, your heater, there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. 651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. They do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. Call them 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The 50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Monday, March 30th at the Golf Club of Texas. Get your slot now. $150 per person or $500 per foursome. The Spring Golf Classic, benefiting fitting animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, is presented by Flight by Yingling, sponsored in part by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. The Spring Golf Classic, Monday, March 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
All right. Let's get back out to San Francisco Radio Row, our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is in the Bay Area, and Jason, you got a special guest I can see there.
I certainly do. Lindsay Rhodes from Sumner Sports joining us here on the Blitz. And it's so funny, Joe, because we teased the George Pickens deal, and she's right on her laptop looking at the Cowboys have no damn money.
That's literally, I was like, wait, you have no money.
Yeah. They'll free up money. They'll create the cap space, right? So what is a George Pickens contract ultimately do you think is that going to look like?
Okay. I'm looking at the contracts that are out there right now. I'm thinking you are probably going – are you going up from DK? I think you probably start at DK. It has to be upwards of DK.
Yeah.
Why did I just start talking? Look at this.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Because you're on in Texas and you decided to go, I'm an LA girl. Let me sound like I'm from Texas. Like Jerry Jones. You're channeling your inner Jerry Jones.
What? I would say that's what I'm going to guess. So he's at 33 a year, right? Just under 33 a year. Over him, you only have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. Oh God, are you going to do that? But I think you can strongly make an argument that it should be over DK, right?
Or do you just use the tag this year?
I mean, or if you can get away with the tag, yes. However, are you convinced that what we saw from George Pickens this year is that who he is now?
No.
Are you? You're not? Okay, because that's literally that is the answer to the question, and that's how you decide whether or not a tag is prove it again.
Yep.
In which case, if there's concern about that, then absolutely go ahead and tag. If you think that he is as good as we saw this year, and that's what you're signing, then I think you have to find a way to get a longer term deal done, or else the price just goes up.
Lindsay, that's interesting that you say that. And I say no, just simply because I've seen a lot of NFL players in a contract year be great citizens and not cause any problems. And then once they get the big contract, it's back. And look, I get it. Wide receivers are divas by nature. But when Mike Tomlin can't handle you, that to me is a red flag. And we saw some of that with the Cowboys a little bit toward the end of the season with George Pickens. I would think I would want another year of prove it to me.
Yeah, I think I cannot speak to any of the stuff that you're referring to in terms of diva or whatever. But but I'm just saying, legitimately, I don't know. I haven't seen that. That hasn't been. But I do know that prior to this year, there was just inconsistency in play, right? Like that was one of the actual football conversations to be had, was that he flashed and people loved the flash, but when he wasn't flashing, what was happening on those plays? And so it seemed like there was less of that this year that was concerning. And so maybe he has taken a step forward in terms of, becoming a more full wide receiver, right? Like in terms of like route tree and consistency and if that's true, then I think you probably are going to have to pay that.
Well, Lindsay Rhodes from Sumner Sports here on the Blitz. You think about his time in Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin let him go, and he had his explosions on the sideline. He gets to Dallas, and it's the best quarterback that he's ever played with, and he's got a CeeDee Lamb on the other side. I know when you guys are starting to look at data and who's taking plays off, and are they max effort if the ball's not coming to them, that's all the evaluation stuff that you guys have access to. I'm assuming the Cowboys have similar data, if not your data.
Right.
How much does that factor into wanting to get him a contract? Even if Dak Prescott said earlier today, even if he has to get involved with Jerry in the contract to get him Pickens back, I don't know how much that factors, but the data is probably going to speak more than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, we have Sumner scores that we create. We have something called Sumner Sight. So it's like a model that we have trained to essentially watch film. Like, so you put, the play on the screen and it evaluates every movement of every player for every frame of every play of of the whole season. So what it does, and actually Shawn, Syed, my colleague, put out a really cool video earlier today demonstrating what Sumner Sight does. So if you're at all curious about how this gets done, I think it's a perfect visual example of how we're compiling a lot of our data. But what it is trained to do, or the job, is to evaluate all of the play that is not necessarily leading to production, but how much are you impacting plays on a regular basis? So even if the ball doesn't come to you, are you still creating separation where you were a viable target? Are you winning your matchups more frequently than losing your matchups if you're a wide receiver? Or are you blocking well, right? Like, that's something that a lot of times people don't see. Are you a liability on the field when the ball doesn't come your way? And so all of these things are being evaluated. We're coming up with season-long scores and game scores that sometimes don't match what people think that they saw. I think that there is a little bit of bias that takes place with the big plays. You remember the big plays, and so you think that is, and I think that to a degree that has been the story of George Pickens in the past. And so people haven't understood necessarily some of the concerns about what's happening when the big plays aren't happening. This year, all of that said, we have him as having a very good score. We have him as an 8, which is like a Pro Bowl level. Like a 10 would be like historically good. These are one of the best players in the year, should be in player of the year type of conversations. A 9 is also like an all pro. And then an 8 is the next level underneath that. 7 is an above average starter. And so it's a 1 through 10 scale that goes like that. And we have him as an 8, the same. We have Dak as an 8 too. We have Javonte Williams as an 8. We have Tyler Smith as an 8, and we have Quinnen as a 9. So it's interesting to me that there's so many offensive players, right? And then Quinnen.
Well, that's why the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yes,
but this is a long way of saying we have him as having the majority of his games don't dip into like subpar ranges. And so that's a pretty good sign, just based on what I know the model does and what it's looking for, that he actually did play consistently well and not just in those ways where he has popped in the past.
Well, Lindsay, that's an interesting, because look, every NFL team across the country is going to look at those numbers and say, hey, George Pickens, he's a number 1 guy. We need a number 1 wide receiver on our football team. And I think that might be the Cowboys' biggest downfall, to be honest with you, unless they come up with something huge, which I just don't know. It's just not the MO. But everybody's looking at that. Could you see that? And I know they can franchise tag him, but can you see a situation where other teams would come calling for him as their number 1 guy and with the number 1 pay?
Absolutely, because there are other teams that just don't have one, And so if you play at a level this year, now I do think that teams are going to be a little bit concerned about the same thing that you said. Like, is it a 1 year? It's a smaller sample size. I do think that the fact that it's a trajectory that's pointing up is certainly good, and not just, he has been good, and then this year was a little bit of a dip, but then he went back, that it's kind of been a consistent ascent. I think that that's going to help his cause. But I mean, the passing game is so valuable. Like, if you can get a really high end 1, or even, I mean, this one's tough because CD and him, it's like a 1A, 1B.
Yep.
So you have an advantage sort of similar to what the Bengals have had with the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Do you just want to build an offense like that? And there's certainly cause for concern about whether you can afford to do that. But if you're going to spend money like that, then I think a wide receiver that makes your passing attack just very, very explosive and hard to stop that's a good place to spend your money. The flip side of this is whether or not the Cowboys need to spend money on the defensive side of the ball. How much of their resources do they have to allocate to the defense, because the offense was good this year and the team wasn't, and so you have to balance, I think, the resources that you can allocate to the offensive side of, but you also need the offensive side of the ball to remain strong. So this becomes
what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
I know.
As we visit with Lindsay Rhodes from Sumer Sports, formerly with the NFL Network. And what I love is you take your NFL Network past, and now it's all data, right?
I know. And then you turned into a nerd, Lindsay.
Well, I'm not saying that, but the pocket protector is lovely. But honestly, I could also see, I go back to a year ago, we were having this similar conversation in New Orleans about Micah Parsons. David Mulligett is his agent. We know all the drama that was there with Jerry and the agent. Could Jerry with George Pickens do something similar, knowing that other people would be willing to pay that money that Jerry can't? Now, he could tag them, but could he do that and trade them and get multiple picks for a George Pickens, especially when you look at what Ryan Flanoy has done and you retain? I mean, is that something that you think would be on the table, taking the reporter side and the data side and figuring out how the hell do we pay them? But can we turn this into multiple picks that could turn into multiple players?
That's a good point, and it's certainly leverage that they have and leverage that they have chosen to use in the past. So that's possible. You always have to consider the fact that the type of capital that you'll get in return will always be less if they have to also pay the person. So that will factor in. But then you are holding hostage, essentially, one of a piece that does have some leverage. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Jones did decide to go down that road, because I do think that there are other teams. I mean, there are so many teams that just need an upgrade in their passing game, be that because they can't find a quarterback. Like, I mean, look at the number of teams that could use a quarterback upgrade this year, and I don't know where they're going to find it. Like, Malik Willis is going to get, relatively, he's going to get some money because he gives you an option with, a trajectory that's pointing up, and we're coming off of a year where Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl as a retread quarterback. In the last few years, we've seen examples of these quarterbacks who have not done well as starters and then taken a back seat as a backup, and then when they come back, they're different, and I think it's easy to understand why they're different and how they got to a place where maybe things slowed down, or they understand defensive coverages, or like when you're in a house that is not burning, you can have more detailed conversations about football than if you are literally just constantly trying to put out the fire, which is, I think, what you do on teams like the Panthers when Sam was there and the Jets when Sam was there. And so, how did I get to Malik? I don't know. Why am I talking about?
Because he's going to get paid.
But I think Malik is going to get paid for that reason, because we've seen very good play from him when he's come in as a backup. In terms of EPA per play, if I don't filter for snaps, which is not a way I suggest that you do that, but he didn't play that many snaps. I think he had like 60 or something like that. He's number one in the NFL in 2025 in EPA per play. Malik Willis.
Well, that's
Meaning
interesting.
When he was on the field, he was efficient. He got it done.
He did get it done, and you can't. And people are going to come calling for him. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Lindsay, let me ask you, because when we were in New Orleans last year, we were talking about Micah Parsons. That was the big contract. And first of all, I just get your reaction. Number one, were you surprised the Cowboys traded him? And number two, are you surprised that the Green Bay Packers paid him the amount of money that they paid him?
No. Yes and no. I was surprised that the Cowboys traded him. I mean, people are looking for a handful of things in the league. Like, these are from a positional value standpoint, these are the most important things you can build your team around. These are the positions you want to pay: quarterback, offensive tackle, primarily your left, wide receiver. One of them is going to get paid if you have a target earner. And then edge rusher, and then cornerback, right? Like, that's it. Those are the positions that you want to actually spend money on. So if you have an edge rusher, which is a high positional value position that can tilt, I mean, you could argue how much it tilts losses to wins by looking at the Browns and Myles Garrett, right? Like, it still didn't lead to a whole lot of wins, but actually I guess that you could make the flip argument that like there were certain wins that people are attributing to Shedeur and saying like, Buddy won these games. And I'm like, Myles Garrett won those games, you guys. Like those scores were low. And the reason that they were in a position to win was because the defense is like one of the best in the NFL. So if you have an edge rusher that is in that conversation with Myles Garrett, then I'm always shocked that somebody's willing to give that up, even if it is for other pieces that are good at stopping the run, as if that's a priority.
Well, we were talking about, in New Orleans having the conversation. We were in Vegas in August at Circa, and you were the one that came down and like, dude, Micah Parsons' jersey is the only one for sale up there. What do they know that we don't at the lid store at Circa? So, I mean, it is kind of bizarre, but it's Jerry doing Jerry things. Now, Lindsay, on your computer, there are producers, a big Houston Texans fan.
Okay. Oh, no.
What do the numbers say about one CJ Stroud?
Okay.
I mean, for a guy that could get paid this offseason, and he won't now because it was so bad. Do the numbers say it was worse than what we actually saw or better?
Okay, we're going to find EP per play. I'm going to filter for this conversation. I'm going to scroll down because I know it's going to be down here.
Way down. Keep scrolling. My God, can you scroll farther? Wow.
CJ,
wow.
where are you?
We're down in the FCS territory. Jeez.
Oh, it's not that far down in terms of EPA per play. This is the stat that I always start with and then branch out from there. But EPA per play is an efficiency metric, and he had the same number as Joe Burrow this year.
Wow.
I mean, Joe Burrow had a not good year for Joe Burrow, but he was 10th. Actually,
here we go.
Dak is 9 and CJ's 10.
Oh, wow. So I guess all those Texan fans.
I heard that. Holy heck.
Wow.
Now, this is not to say that's one stat. And so let's see, in terms of success rate, he's 17th.
17th. That's a lot higher than I thought.
It's a lot higher than I thought. 100%. You know who threw the fewest interceptions this year? He played a lot. Justin Fields. Justin Fields had 1 interception. What is that? How?
Well, it's because he played for the Jets, and they don't intercept, so they don't throw any either, I guess.
I mean, when you're off target, even the defensive back can't catch.
Goodness.
See, this is the fun about Sumer Sports, because you just start diving into all the numbers.
Ooh, let me find our Sumer score for CJ.
All right, that's what we want to know.
Okay. Then this will be the closer, now we're not just looking at one stat, we're looking at.
Because if I was paying attention earlier, 7 or above would be okay.
There you go.
Outside of that,
you did, yeah.
Outside of that, not very good. So, drum roll, please.
I know my filter is filtering. Oh, you guys, the Wi-Fi here. I'm going to blame it on the Wi-Fi.
And you can, or the calculations of, did this number really go with this guy? Is your computer good enough to know that?
Oh, no, you guys, it's going to go too long. I have Arizona up. Anyone want to know about the Cardinals? Just kidding.
No.
You guys, it's the longest. I feel so stressed out.
It's live radio, Lindsay.
I know.
Do it live.
I'm failing. Now I can't even find them. I hit refresh. Oh, wait. Now they're at the top. Okay. I'm watching the bar.
All right.
I started from scratch to try and reboot it. Okay.
The Wi-Fi in here does suck for people that want to know.
Okay.
And we can't use our own little hotspots either. The NFL frowns upon that.
Okay. You guys, this is terrible radio. I apologize.
Oh, no, this is entertaining as hell.
Is it?
Oh, well,
is
for
it
Cowboy
just
fans.
Watching me sweat?
For the Houston Texans fans.
A 6.
A 6.
A 6. That's a lot higher than you thought, huh?
Not regular season.
If it were 7 or above, I would be a little concerned about your data. But with what we saw this year from CJ, 5 or 6 is kind of where I was thinking it might end up being.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be closer to 5, honestly, but yeah, 6 is probably about right. We have one game in week 8 where he was an 8, and that's boosting his performance.
That one-off game. One-off game.
There were quite a few that were 5 or below. There were 2 that were 6s, and there was 1 that's an 8.
So he's not getting paid this offseason.
I don't think you can pay him this offseason. I think you have to kick that down the road and do what you can to just hit pause on that. But the problem with the problem with quarterbacks is that you don't want CJ to turn into somebody else's Sam Darnold. Right. And I think what you need to identify this offseason, and they need to have some long, hard conversations about why CJ has stalled out. And is it his coaching? Like, do they need a different quarterback coach? Do they need a different, because last year we talked about the offensive line, and the offensive line was a disaster. And so, we made some changes. They made some changes, and, the offensive line got better and he did not. And so it feels like it's related to something else. And so I think that they need to really evaluate why he's not developing. I think it makes other people look pretty bad. Or is it about him, and is he not a quick processor? Are there some things like that are coming into play? I don't know the answer. They'll have the interesting thing is that whatever they do financially will be a sign of the things that they know about whether he's the problem or whether there might be some systemic issues in the organization. But I would very much like to see some different people around him, maybe from a coaching standpoint, and just kind of give this one last try
before
shove all our chips into the table.
Paying him the big bucks.
Yeah.
Lindsay Rhodes, Sumer Sports, you have the big draft show that you guys are starting right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and where people can find this great information that you can just, on faster Wi-Fi, get it like that.
I know. Sorry about that. So sumersports.com is the website, SUMER. And if you go to that website, there will be links to everything that you could want to find in terms of the data tables, not our Sumer scores. Those aren't public. I probably just read more of them than they would have liked me to. But the data tables are public. We have a very cool new tool called Sumer Live, which, have you seen this? I'm going to show it to you as soon as we're off.
All right.
But also it's free and on the website, and it's a dashboard that will happen live during the games. So you can use it as a second screen during the Super Bowl. And it is like a play-by-play feed, but it will tell you in that play-by-play feed that they were in 12 personnel against a heavy box with cover 3 man. There was also motion on the play, and this player was the impact player will pop up. And like in the NFC Championship game, it told us that 4 times the center Sundell for the Seahawks had 4 impact plays. Did anyone see those? Probably not, except maybe his mom or dad.
Yeah.
And so now we know, and we can go back and watch those plays and go, oh my gosh, he absolutely did. Look at him just like mauling these defenders to create holes. So it will update all of the advanced stats, team tendencies, usage numbers, all that stuff in real time as soon as the play is over. It's my favorite thing that we have done as a company. A close second is the draft show of my dreams, which will launch the Thursday after the Super Bowl. It's called The Evaluation. There are links to it on the website as well. And it is the blend of voices that we have at Sumer Sports, which is all of the guys from our scouting arm, general managers, Mike Mayock, Mike McCagnon, Phil Emery, all these guys, and then the data people. And they'll do all their evaluations separately, just like a scout would. And they're finally talking publicly. These guys have been so secretive their whole lives, like guard their secrets. And now they're doing the evaluations on this year's class. We'll give you the data on this year's class, and then we'll have a roundtable about what to do with that information, how you should judge various position groups, and when you should take them in the draft. I loved doing it. And I think that if you enjoy the draft, I think you're going to love it too.
It's going to be
Awesome.
fantastic. Lindsay, appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Her table's right there. So she doesn't have far to go.
I'm going to stalk him all week.
All week.
There it comes again, my accent. I don't know why.
We love it. It's perfect.
But when we need some data, just bring you right over. Bring you right over. Thank you, Lindsay.
I'll send you a note.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff from Lindsay Rhodes. We appreciate that. She has become a go-to at Radio Row, Super Bowl, or even Circa Las Vegas, for goodness sakes, Jason, for sure. We got a lot more to do. Our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Smokey Mo's Texas Barbecue, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, all of that. We'll head back out to San Francisco when we continue and return here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let me tell you about my Kinetico quality water softener. Let me brag, I should say. I'm not just going to tell you about it. I'm going to brag about it. I love this thing. Had it in my house now for many months. And I tell you what, I knew immediately that this thing was just better than anything else that I've ever had. It is incredible. And now you just kind of get used to it. You get spoiled. That's exactly what you do. You get spoiled because everything's better, especially Man, I notice it when I get out of the shower. You just feel hydrated. You feel good, clean, no film, none of that kind of stuff. It is outstanding. Your clothes out of the washing machine, your dishes out of the dishwasher, all of that stuff is just so much better. And look, it is the most popular water softener on the market for a reason, because it is so good. It doesn't run on electricity. I love that about it. You don't plug this thing in. It runs on kinetic energy. I really don't know what that is, and I really don't care at this point in time. I just know it provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a great product. You owe it to yourself to treat yourself. And right now, they've got some goodies for you. When you do, you're going to get a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they will install right there at your kitchen sink. Now, what does that mean to you? It means bottled water, basically having that right there at your kitchen sink. You don't have to spend money on bottled water anymore. Plus, they're going to give you some free money. You can't beat that. 0% interest for 12 months. It is an incredible deal. Treat yourself, treat your family to the absolute best Kinetico quality water softener. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at KineticoSA.com. And you know the jingle, sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Touchdown Vegas! What a wild finish!
Your home for the NFL.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
Hey, hockey fans, want to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia? Well, you can register to win the trip tonight at McIntyre Southtown. Jason Minix here. My friends from Flight by Yingling are hosting a watch party tonight as the Stars take on the Winnipeg Jets. Puck drops at 7:30. So head over to McIntyre Southtown location. You can win some great Flight by Yingling Dallas Stars gear during the game, like hats and t-shirts. And, of course, register to win the flyaway trip to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia March 29th. The flyaway package includes 2 game tickets, 2 round-trip airplane tickets, and a hotel. Must be at least 21 years of age to enter. And I can tell you from experience, hockey in Philly will be a great experience in an incredible atmosphere. Philly in late March, great time to visit the city of brotherly love. So head over to McIntyre Southtown after work today for a Dallas Stars watch party with Flight by Yingling, proud partner of the Dallas Stars and the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Fort Worth, Texas.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, congratulations to Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson. He's been selected as a head coach of the West for the 2026 NBA All-Star Game. He gets that nod because the Spurs, well, they were able to knock off the Orlando Magic last night after a journey of a weekend through snow and mechanical issues, but they got the win, 112-103. Wemby led the way with 25 points. Spurs return to action on Wednesday against the Thunder in OKC.
Live from San Francisco, it's The Blitz, broadcasting from AA Best Bell Bonds Radio Row ahead of Sunday's game. Here's Jason Minix and Joe Reinagle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. I'm Joe Reinagle here in San Antonio. Out in the Bay Area, Jason Minix is manning the post there on Radio Row in some convention center, huh, Jason?
Yeah, in San Francisco. And I'll tell you what, Joe, I mean, and it sucks that you aren't here. Let's not beat around the bush. Although one advantage of you being in San Antonio, I just dealt with during that commercial break, and you're close to the porcelain there in the studio. The bathrooms here are there's one bathroom that I found here that's close to where we are. There's none actually in the room that we're in, which is unusual for most of the radio rows that we've been in. You've got to go all the way out and then to the left and then all the way to the end. And so, I mean, you can do that in a reasonable amount of time, but I get to the bathroom and it's closed. Right? There's like 10 dudes in line while they've got it blocked off because they're in there cleaning it. And now, fortunately, as I got there and I saw the line going, they opened it up, but now everybody is in a commercial break trying to use the restroom at the same time, and I just barely made it back.
You know, Jason, and I've been to, since I started here, to several radio rows, Super Bowl radio rows, and most of them run pretty smooth. This one seems like it's got its hiccups early on.
Early on. Now, granted, it's not like they're going to build new bathrooms, but I mean, you close it during the day, that's one thing, but everybody's commercial breaks are basically about the same time, so everybody is making that run at basically the same time, and then you get there and they've got it roped off and you're like, what the but fortunately by the time I got there they were just coming, but what are they doing? I mean, and it was a dude in there mopping, and it's like, you can't let guys in while you're I don't know, it was like, I'm glad that I was able to go, but you would have some issues here with that one particular situation. Well, you would get your steps in, I could tell you that.
I would have found that out about 2:30 San Antonio time, because that would have been the first stop. So I'd have had that problem handled early on. That's for sure. But no, it's been good, and I tell you, Sumer Sports has been awesome. Some great info, and that's just the appetizer, man. With what we got coming up on Radio Row throughout the week, some huge guests, and looking forward to them.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about it. We'll go through the guest list throughout the week. But, I mean, if you're a Cowboy fan, we've got C.D. Lamb coming up. We've got Ryan Flanoy coming up, Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith, to name a few. And, like, I'm excited to talk to John Riggins. I mean, I hated that guy when I was watching him play against the Cowboys. But I think that'll be a lot of fun tomorrow. But one of the other things that apparently is happening now upstairs from the convention center where we are at Roger Goodell hosting the State of the NFL, where he just said the NFL will have a game in Mexico City in December. Now, keep in mind, all these teams have to play international games. Jerry Jones has said many times he wants to play in Mexico City. So I do wonder if of the 9 international games in 2026 that the NFL has said they will have, if it will be the Cowboys in Mexico City when they play that game in December.
Well, it should be. A lot of Cowboy fans here in San Antonio and South Texas and all throughout Texas for that matter. But Mexico? Are you kidding me? That would be like a nonstop fiesta. I'm not kidding you. They would go nuts for that thing. And I think Jerry would be smart. The NFL would be smart to have the Cowboys go to Mexico City and play there. I just think it would be a big-time party. It really would be. And so many Cowboy fans in Mexico, it's not even funny. And oh, man, that would be quite the ordeal.
Well, and if Jerry could figure out, because obviously, I mean, we talked to Will Gavin earlier on the Blitz, who is from Talk Sport there in the UK and, Mr. NFL Europe. And, Goodell did say a few minutes ago, according to Albert Breer, the goal is to get to 16 international games every year. They're going to 9 next year, but one of those will be Mexico City. The Cowboys, anywhere they go, whether it be a game in Germany, a game in London, a game wherever, is going to be massive. But at the same time, Jerry wants Mexico. And so it'll be interesting to see, as Jerry Jones has famously said, he runs the NFL, if it is the Cowboys that end up in that game in Mexico. I'm not saying it will be. That's just my speculation, knowing Jerry and the Cowboys and Jerry's reluctance to agree to give up a home day at Jerry World to go play a game over in London or Germany. Jerry doesn't like to do that. He doesn't want to give up home games. He'll give up a home game to go to Mexico.
Especially in December. You're talking about December when you could really be in the thick of things. If you're a Cowboy fan, you certainly hope so. But just the list of games, and you're right, 9 games thus far. Melbourne, Australia, Rio de Janeiro, Munich, Germany, 3 games in London. They're going to Spain, to Madrid, and Paris. Be the first game in France, and then, of course, the Mexico City game. So the NFL is certainly reaching out, and there's money to be made overseas, and Roger Goodell is going to make sure he gets a piece of that pie.
Absolutely he is, and Jerry's going to do everything he can to get his piece of that pie.
Well, speaking of pieces of pie, Jason Minix, we have a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom that we need to give away. We need to do it right now so somebody can get a nice slice of pie or a whole pie or 3 or 10 of them. Whatever you want to do. It is a Mellow Monday. What do you think, Minix? Caller number what?
Well, we talked about 9 international games, so let's go caller number 9 right now. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 9, you win that $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom.
And our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds continues here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copays. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars $50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at SASportsStar.com. The $50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's Pork Rind Appreciation Day at PorkRinds.com. Hall of Famer Devin Hester and PorkRinds.com are lining up to be the heroes for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. Pork rinds are the MVP of the snack aisle. Low-carb, gluten-free, and packed with protein. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Visit PorkRinds.com to enter for a chance to win a 2027 Big Game Travel Package and a year's supply of rinds. Support a great cause and find your favorite rinds at PorkRinds.com. Pork Rind Appreciation Day, the crunchiest day in football.
Hello, this is Jason Thompson, and as you know, I've been practicing law here in San Antonio for more than 30 years, helping people and families injured in traffic collisions. So I'm often asked, what is the worst thing you can do after a traffic collision? And the answer is easy. That's trying to handle it on your own without an attorney. Insurance companies have spent billions perfecting their strategy of paying nothing or as little as they can get away with. It wouldn't be David versus Goliath. It would be David versus a million Goliaths. You have no chance. Using AI for help is even worse because AI routinely gives dangerously inaccurate legal advice. It is laughably bad on the law. So bad that a lawyer filing a document drafted by AI will likely be disbarred in Texas. Keep it simple. Just call me. My name is Jason Thompson. I'll give you a free review of your case with no obligation to hire me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or my website, alawyerforus.com. That's alawyerforus.com.
Hey, the big game is almost here, but every game is big when you play Prize Picks because it's so fun to be right. And when the big game comes around, I'm talking 2,000 times your money. But you got to remember something. That's the code Alamo. With $5, you can get $50 in free play when you go download the Prize Picks app. But when the big game hits, the specials are here, and we've got them. And I love Prize Picks because if my guy is winning, I can cash out early. That's one of the best things about Prize Picks is they take care of you from beginning to end. Prize Picks offers 2,000 times your cash. I've heard all different numbers, not 2,000 from other places. So when it comes down to the big game, and it could be that big game or any big game, Prize Picks makes it a big game. Download the app, use the code Alamo, and use some big free money to play the big game. Prize Picks, let me tell you how good it feels, because it feels so good to be right.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Summer or winter Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. You need a local roofer you can trust. That is Stevens Roofing. You know, Texas roofs are not designed for freezing weather. When ice and snow melt, water seeps into the little cracks, then refreezes, creating bigger cracks. That means leaks or maybe worse. Don't wait to see what damage has occurred. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free inspection. 210-785-0994. That's 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Round up your foursome, your work crew, your weekend golf buddies, even the ladies, and get ready for a fun, laid-back day at the Golf Club of Texas. Monday, March 30th. Lock in a team for just $500 for a foursome, or jump in solo for $150 per player and spend the day talking trash, crushing drives, and laughing your way around the course. This isn't a stuffy golf club tournament. It's golf the way it should be. The Spring Golf Classic benefits feeding animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, so you're having a great time for a great cause. Presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. And when the last putt drops, the day is just getting started. Join us for the after party at the 90 Proof Bar at Lucky Ranch Road and Highway 90. Cold drinks, great food, and all the post-round storytelling you can handle. So pick your team, claim your spot, and tee up with San Antonio's Sports Star. Sign up your foursome now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Well, let's get back out to Radio Row in San Francisco, California. That's where Jason Minix is standing by. I'm Joe Reinagle. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. And one of the big things today, Jason, the man himself, Roger Goodell, meeting with the media.
And that is happening as we speak on the second floor of this convention center. So literally right above us as he's having his State of the NFL press conference here in San Francisco, highlighting the international games that they're going to have 9 next year. They want to get up to 18. There's been some scheduling, and it certainly looks like he's dodging the questions about Tish and the Giants owner showing up in the Epstein files.
Yeah, and I think they'll probably do that unless somebody holds them. They're going to have to address it at some point in time, that's for sure, because it is such a big deal. But on the 18-game season, I think that's fascinating. And he says there have not been any formal discussions, according to Ian Rappaport. He says among the questions that need to be discussed are what are the roster sizes? Are there 2 buys? What are the union's priorities? And I'm not sure if it was Nate Tice, who had joined us earlier in the show here on the Blitz, was talking about he thinks that if it comes, will come in 2030 with the new collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, well, and that was something that we talked about, too, with Will Gavin from Talk Sport with the additional games in Europe, making sure at least one of those games are considered an international game. And obviously marrying it up with the CBA, because the players union is going to have to agree to it. Obviously, salaries are going to go up with that extra game, even if they try to eliminate a preseason game. And we've talked about
that. Eliminate all of them.
Well, they'll have 2 of them. I'm with you. I mean, high schools and colleges don't really have a preseason, but there's money to be made. And when you look at the roster sizes, those preseason games for a lot of guys, that's their only chance to play in an actual game. And I do think there is some value there for some of those younger players that end up being core special teamers. But I'm with you. You could eliminate the entire preseason, but, they try to make money at it. But, it's an interesting tightrope act that I think the league has to walk when they talk about adding games. And we all know the additional revenue that will come with that. Players will want that extra game if they're going to get an additional paycheck. They're going to make more money. But how do you talk about adding an 18th game and then give me this line about player safety being a priority, right? So how do you balance that when you look at all the analytics, all the data, and players' health, and there'll be an extra bye week in there, all these different things that they'll have to bargain for. But ultimately, just get in the room and be honest. Dude, you know how much more money we can make if we add this game? Cool. We're going to make that money as a player? Cool. We get enough time off, our bodies can recover? Cool. Just go there. But it becomes such a negotiation. But we all know it's going to happen because all you got to do is just follow the money.
Yeah, there's too much money to be made. You're right. And look, the NFL season, in my mind, is just goes by so fast anyway. And again, I think it comes down to you can only do so much for player safety. I mean, true. And I think the NFL has been pretty proactive in trying to do that. But push comes to shove, and I know you want to do everything you can, but I mean, at some point in time, you're playing football. Football's a rough sport, and people are going to get hurt. You do what you can, you try to do what you can, but eventually, you're going to get hurt. It just is. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why they want the increased roster size, so you can have a little bit more depth if that's going to happen. The problem with any of this is, and again, I'm all for it. The more football to me, the better. The fact that we're down to one meaningful game left in this NFL season, and you talk about 52 weeks in a year, and the NFL is playing for, 20 of them, 22 of them. I just look at whether it's 18 games, 16 games, go back to 14 games. If your quarterback gets hurt, you're screwed. If a star wide receiver, star linebacker, so all these extra depth guys. So what? I got to add an extra lineman that doesn't know how to block that we're going to be mad at all the time. I mean, I get 2 TJ Basses instead of 1, but we got increased roster sizes. Those guys aren't impact players. Well, what can you do to make sure the impact players can stay healthy?
Well, and that's a good point that you bring up. I want the extra game, but I don't want watered down football teams. And if injuries become an issue, and you've got guys that probably don't belong in the NFL or maybe belong somewhere else, and the play is not as good as it is with the obviously the star players, then that could be a problem. And I would imagine that Roger Goodell and the union heads know that. So all of that's going to have to be worked out. I like the fact that they're not in any hurry right now with that, or it doesn't sound like it from Roger Goodell's press conference today. They haven't had any meaningful discussions on it, and they're going to have to do it. So if 2030 is the target date, I think that gives them plenty of time to figure out the majority of the issues that could come up. And but hey, I'm all for it. I love it when the NFL expands games. All these European games, I really don't give a damn about. It doesn't matter to me, but for the league, I think it's necessary for them to keep going and being the monster that they are.
I would like to define meaningful conversations. Well, first off, I mean, because in reality, I mean, we're getting ready for the 2026 season. So we're talking about, 2030 and schedules that all come out far in advance, how it's going to adjust. There's a lot of work in a relatively short amount of time. That said, the international games, I'm a fan of. 9 a.m. football, I'd rather watch a game, even if it's a bad game, than some of these pregame shows. Although we were talking to a guy that lives out here yesterday in California, and their games start at 10 a.m. And he's like, but the coolest thing is, like Sunday night football, it's over at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But now Central Time Zone, that's 9 a.m. for these international games. So that's 7 a.m. football. How many people are waking up on the West Coast to watch football that early? I wonder how much they look into that as well. I mean, if your team is playing, you'll get up and watch. Bloody Marys, mimosas, and kickoff, I suppose. Let's go with it.
I'm with you, and I get where you're coming from. I enjoy watching morning football, Sunday morning football. It's fantastic. Interesting tweet from Diana Rossini, Jason. Roger Goodell apparently said he spoke to many players, and he says he discovered how much they enjoy playing the international games because they feel like ambassadors. And I guess I could see that in a certain way. You go over there and everybody's looking at you. It's a different audience, and you're representing not only your team, but the United States.
In a lot of ways, and I think, representing the U.S. In that kind of platform is there. But these international games, the teams that show up early and they do stuff within those communities, in a lot of ways, it's almost like one of those college bowl environments that we have lost in college football with the college football playoff, because they don't do all the things that you used to do during bowl season because it's playoffs. But the pep rallies and the fan events that they have, the football education things that they do, it does have a different environment than your regular NFL Sunday. If you're a road team in the NFL, You fly in on Saturday, you go to the hotel, you have meetings and meals at the hotel. You might get a couple hours to get out, but then you got meetings at 9 o'clock so they could do bed check. Then you get up, you play the game, and you get on a plane and you go home. If you're a home team, a lot of home teams actually stay in a hotel the night before the game and then get there. These international games, there's so much that goes around it. In a lot of ways, it's been described like the big-time college bowl experience, like if you're at the Rose Bowl or you're at the Orange Bowl or think about the Valero Alamo Bowl, all the activities that surround the game. That makes the game a little bit different, adds a little bit more to it. Then you go play football.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think they enjoy it. I'm going to be interested to see this Melbourne-Australia game, though. Are they going to have to give those two teams 2 weeks off, for goodness sake? Then it take like a week to get there?
You know, I mean, it could, although if the Spurs can get delayed in Charlotte, have to spend the night, then get a plane diverted to Atlanta because you lost cabin pressure. They just moved the start time 2 hours, and you still have to play the game. No, they don't get a week off, man. Just fly back. Jet lag doesn't matter. Travel crap doesn't matter. Just go with it.
Geez, I guess so. That's going to be interesting to see who those teams are and what they look like when they come back. We are in San Francisco. Jason Minnick certainly is in San Francisco. It is our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. And Dak Prescott, George Pickens were in the house today, and they had some things to say. Well, also may wrap it up with congratulations to Mitch Johnson. I guess that's a congratulations. He gets to coach and fold his arms and not yell at anybody in the All-Star game. We're talking about it.
Another day that ends in Y.
Exactly right. We continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast because, of course, you do it. You know, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential, and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, more from Rob on Radio Row out in San Francisco as we get you ready for the Super Bowl, and a ton of hoops to talk as we get one day closer to that mega matchup between the Spurs and
has it all. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
You know, you're right. I love my Connecticut too. My diapers never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good.
You bet you can always come to work for me, but you're going to have to wear pants.
ConnecticutSA.com.
License number 38961.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. And people say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the big game in Silicon Valley. And the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all the pregame excitement leading up to the superb Owl. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, live from San Francisco, is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds all this week. This was just day one, and what a day it has been. We've got a lot more coming up for you. That's for sure. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is out in San Francisco on Radio Row, and I tell you what are you guys horsing around out there? What's happening?
Well, so during the commercial break, we just did our next day promo, and we're sharing space here with like a lot of stations are with our friends from Waco, and we're going to have John Riggins on the show tomorrow, and David Smoke. Literally just, you're having John Riggins on? I thought, I'm worried that Smoke might be humping Riggins' leg during our interview tomorrow. I mean, he's literally like, oh, I cried when he broke that tackle. And he's all excited, like he's going to go buy like a Redskins mini helmet and hump his leg and get all excited. He's like, what can I do? You know, I didn't hear this. Erica was like, he offered to do toes, or I don't know what the hell
toes.
That was. It was a little freaky. But no, I don't want
Joe's
a pedicure
toes
from David Smoke. I can tell you that.
Wow.
But the Riggins interview tomorrow might get a little weird. Yeah, I mean, it's odd. It's going to be odd.
Well, it is. And look, John Riggins, I haven't seen him in a while, but I would assume he could still take all of you guys, no matter how many there are, and do it pretty easily.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's 7 of us.
Yeah, well,
right.
again, that's not enough.
He'd run through all of us and break tackles.
Yeah, I've seen you guys. I know the shape you're all in.
Well, and look, Smokey is Smokey, and there's some weirdness. So it's kind of par for the course with David Smokey, I suppose.
No doubt about it. Well, I'm looking forward to talking with John Riggins tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun, without a doubt. With a lot of guests tomorrow coming up for you. And look, if you've listened to this show during Super Bowl Radio Row Week, you know there's always a lot of interesting folks, and it just gets better as the week goes on, and then tomorrow is no exception. So.
Well, and then you make a comment like Smoke's going to be, humping his leg. My buddy John Robbins says, well, tell Smoke to get a few pumps in for me, too. What the hell? It's Shawn Riggins.
Wow. Wow. Dude, I'll be honest with you. It's probably good I'm not there. I might be humping his leg, too.
Well, I mean, look, I get it if you're talking about Troy Aikman. I get it if you're, like John Riggins.
John Riggins, dude, was a beast. Nobody wanted to tackle that dude.
Oh, no, I'm with you. But, there are athletes that are on that level that will make a grown-ass man turn into a child again, which is what's great about athletes and seeing these legends. John Riggins, I mean, certainly the respect level and all of that is there, but the in allness of, oh, my God, that dude's going to be at this table tomorrow. From a guy like David Smoke is quite honestly a little surprising. I don't think John Riggins is on that level, if you know what I mean.
I don't know about that.
He's not for me. He might be for John Robbins. He clearly is for David Smoke. Yes.
Yeah. Hide the toys, boys.
Rub it. Well, I'm literally concerned about this tomorrow. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I encourage you to tune in tomorrow at 4:00 when he's on.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking at Riggins. Guy's 76 years old. But he still looks like he could put on the pads and play.
I mean, that's the crazy thing about Radio Row is you see some of these athletes that played long time ago and they look like they could still play. And then you see some of these athletes that were just these physical specimens and now they're broken down old men that can barely walk.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly runs the gamut. So it will be interesting when Riggins is on tomorrow to kind of see where that is. But the stories that they can tell and the stuff that they had to deal with and they went through as RJ Ochoa has made his appearance here on Radio Row.
Really?
But yeah. RJ, say hi or just wave. Yeah. I'm not sure what that sign language was.
I'm not sure what that was.
That's fine. And what does RJ just has to come in and start flipping everything over on the table?
That's what he does. He's like a child.
He is a child.
Yes.
Very, very, very much a child. Where were we?
Well, I hope
pumping John Riggins' leg.
Well, I hope George Pickens isn't still around because RJ will start pumping his leg.
Well, he certainly might. And look, if it gets him to stay in Dallas, I will volunteer RJ to do whatever is necessary to make him stay in Dallas.
Did you think that would make him stay in Dallas, RJ humping his leg? That'd get him out of town quicker than anything.
Well,
stop it.
I mean, why stop it? I mean, whatever it takes at that point.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That's the beauty of Radio Row. You just never know what's going to happen, and things just happen out of the clear blue sky. Somebody will stop by and you ask them to take a seat, and usually they do.
Well, and that's it. And we'll grab RJ at some point through the week, I suppose, or not. But it's kind of like how it was with Will Gavin earlier, the King of England. I hadn't seen him yet, and he just walked up and let's talk to him. And he truly has become a star with his viral clips. And he told us that great story about Christian McCaffrey. He sent it to me. It's actually on his Instagram. You guys can go see it. That happened earlier today with Christian McCaffrey saying, more people called me or texted me about your call than the actual play itself. And of course, that went viral. And it's just such a good dude. You're just happy to see the success like that from somebody that certainly has earned it, and just good people. Now, earlier today at the Pro Bowl practice, Dak Prescott and George Pickens did talk to Clarence Hill from All City, Dallas. And, it is interesting because that's going to be the $1 million question this offseason for the Cowboys is, will they be able to bring George Pickens back? And, you've got the tag possibility, but also he's going to get wide receiver one money. And, Clarence Hill did ask him about the extension talks and playing on the tag.
No, not yet. We've been going through a lot of the Pro Bowl. Like, we just been letting stuff float around. But I feel like March 11th, around March, when free agency kind of opens up, it'll be more debacles, more talks and stuff like that.
What, you don't want the franchise tag? I mean, what would you do if they gave you the franchise tag?
That's the thing. I ain't even thought about that because it's been so much, kind of like you said, like his money and some of the space that he had. You see what I mean?
They basically said, we got money for you. So
you see what I mean?
Why are we talking about the franchise tag?
So I just wait on them. That's all I can really do. And chill with the guys.
That's a great answer by George Pickens right there. A great answer. Look, I haven't thought about it. He doesn't want the franchise tag. Let's be honest. And if he wanted to be honest, he would have said so. But again, I don't blame him for not being honest. Because you got to play the game.
Well, look, I don't believe him when he says he hasn't thought about it. He has thought about it. There's way too much money for that not to be a part of the conversation. And quite frankly, if he hasn't thought about it, then I would say he needs to look at his agent and say, we haven't gone over all these scenarios yet. I know he's talked about it because if you're David Mulligetta and Mulligetta's team, you have laid out all the different possibilities right now for George Pickens and the strategy that they are going to have this offseason. Now, he doesn't want to talk about it. That's one thing. Does he want it? No player wants the franchise tag. But they also need to see the Cowboys clear up some cap space because I would imagine, George Pickens has probably also said, hey, man, if I truly do hit free agency, then here are the teams that I would like to look at. Or if you're Mulligetta, here are the teams that have the cap space for you and the need for a number one wide receiver. And if they haven't done that yet, I would say that they're probably derelict in their duties.
Oh, I guarantee you Mulligetta has. He's looked at it and he knows. And he's going to play the game with Jerry and Steven. He's going to. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It sounds like Pickens wants to stay in Dallas. And if the Cowboys make it worth his while, I think he will. I just think that Pickens and I just think the Cowboys are going to franchise tag this guy. That's my gut is telling me instead of giving him a full-blown extension.
Well, and again, financially, that probably makes the most sense for the Cowboys, even though the tag will certainly be expensive. But also, GP seems like he wants to be in Dallas. Dak Prescott certainly sounds like he wants George Pickens to stay in Dallas.
Yeah, you just said it's disappointing, tough year, up and down. But at the end of the day, we, on offense, as much success as we had, we still didn't play complementary in those games that we needed to. Some of those games that we did win, the defense the one that stepped up and allowed us, to have an opportunity to win. You think about the Philly and you think about Kansas City. And so some of those games where they didn't play their best, we didn't play our best by scoring as many points as we could. So that's just the reality of this game and the team game. And it's important offseason. We know we got to get that side of the ball right, but we got to make sure that we aren't complacent with what we've done on our side of the ball. We've got to get one of our guys signed and make sure that we take a big step on offense as well.
You said getting one of your guys signed.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the guy out here. The guy out here that doesn't have a contract. No matter whichever way that they got to do it, he's an important piece of this offense, important piece of what we're trying to do. And so leave it to those guys. Obviously, if I need to get involved, I've said it before, I will. But confident in Jerry and everybody who makes those decisions and how much he means to us.
Yeah, well, he wants him for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see because, again, the focus is going to be on that defense. They're going to have to restructure Dak's contract. They're going to have to do some others as well. And if you sign George Pickens to whatever that is, if it is a franchise tag, every bit of that money counts against the cap. If you give him an extension, it might be better to be able to find some free agents on that defensive side of the ball. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this offseason, as it always is with the Cowboys.
It always is, and there's so many different scenarios that the Cowboys can go. But the fact that they've got a gazillion Pro Bowlers again this year, mainly all on offense, and they're not even a playoff team. It's another Super Bowl, and one of the cool things in the convention center every year during Radio Row is they have all the Super Bowl banners hanging from the ceiling, and it's been so long that since the Cowboys have made one of these banners. Yet, the growing narrative of the Super Bowl drought for the Cowboys, it's not a narrative. It's a fact. But, Dak Prescott knows the pressure that is on him to get this team into the Super Bowl.
It's a little bit of all of it, monkey, gorilla. He grows, he gets bigger each year that we don't make it. And that's real, talking to Micah. It's one of those things, you become a rookie, you get in here and, everybody thinks they can win the Super Bowl and they think how easy it is. And when you have a year like I did as a rookie year, you think you're going to have multiple opportunities to get back. And you sit here in year 10, having opportunities in the playoffs and not doing what you wanted to do as a team and definitely individually, it hurts. And every year, it just means even more. And so being here, you want to be here and you want to be playing. But the mindset that I have, we go through everything for a purpose. And you can't tell me that all these 10 years and every experience I've had wasn't for us to, be better and to get there next year.
Get there next year. That's
always next year.
That's the battle cry for the Cowboys. Always next year. That's right. But again, look, Dak played at a very high level this year. He did. He had some weapons. They had a running game. All of those things have to be there again. And so it begs the question: not only George Pickens, Javonte Williams. Do they sign him, or do they go out and find another running back? Because I don't know about you, Minix, but Jaden Blue is not an every down back. I just don't think so. I think he could be a good complement to somebody. I'm just not sure he is a number one guy and then carry the load 20, 25 times a game.
Well, he certainly didn't prove it this year. Didn't get on the field enough to be able to prove it. I thought Javonte Williams did. Sumer Sports had Javonte with a high grade. We learned that from Lindsay Rhodes earlier today. But also we talked to Nate Tice from Yahoo, who didn't seem overly high on Javonte Williams and thinks the Cowboys need to go out and find a true number one running back. So although Steven has said that they want to bring Williams back at the right price. So it will be interesting to see what they do at the running back position this offseason.
And I've already started talking to him, apparently. I don't know if Steven was supposed to say that, but he did say that just the other day, that they've already started conversations with that. Minix, it's only almost 4 o'clock where you're at.
Almost 4 o'clock. See, I got to figure out my night tonight. I know my friends from Flight by Yingling are having that Dallas Stars watch party tonight at McIntyre's Southtown location, where you could go register to win that Stars flyaway trip to go watch the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia March. They'll have hats and T-shirts that they're giving away out there. Go watch that. We're going to have to go get into some fun here in San Francisco.
You absolutely have. You can actually make a happy hour, Minix, out in San Francisco, where we can't do that here in San Antonio.
No, we've got to figure out where is Rob Thompson. Because our lovely Airbnb does not have a washing machine, and I can't say we're in the ghetto, but we're on the verge of being in the ghetto. And the Uber driver did pass by a laundromat that looked kind of sketch, that Rob was like, I can't go there. But Rob's got to go wash his underwear because, he packed for New Orleans and then came here with a bunch of dirty clothes. Jeez. So he's got to figure out something.
Yes, please, Rob,
so
do
hopefully
that.
He did that this afternoon as opposed to napping all day.
I would imagine there was a nap in there. Hey, tomorrow on Radio Row, Shawn Merriman, Brian Jones, Jason Fitz, and the big one, John Riggins. All of those things. Minix, get some rest, go party, go do whatever it is you want to do. We'll be ready for tomorrow when we continue our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. You got a show tonight, Pledge? James Pledger, Extra Innings with Pledge is coming up next. And again, be sure and join the fellas in the morning huddle. AJ, Rob is out at Radio Row as well with Minix, so he'll get you caught up on whatever they did tonight. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smokey Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More